Well. Hello. My God. I need a solution for this freaking microphone cord. Okay, let's see if this works. Hello, guys. Hello. Welcome to day 49. We've made it to 49 days. Okay, I think I need to drop this chair a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, how's the lighting, guys? How's it look? I didn't make too many changes. Let me see here. Let's full screen this guy real quick. Okay, so I didn't make too many changes, but yeah, I've like fiddled with the lights a little bit. So, I think I need to, listen, I'm about to get a bit nitpicky, okay? Because this is all in the spirit of learning, but I'm trying not to spend more money than I have to. But there's a few things that I've learned as I'm learning more about how to do lighting properly. There's a concept, there's a product called the flag, and apparently you can have like different color flags, but you can have one that's like a black tarp essentially, and think of it as a way to block light. So then, for instance, I have this one light hooked up here, but it's got a little bit of like a bulbous fixture on the front, and so it just kind of blasts the light out in most directions. So that does mean there's some spillover from the light hitting my face. So it's a bit warmer on my face than I would like it to be. So I would like to kind of have a flag here that would block some of that light to come, from hitting my face. And then also to prevent it from hitting the wall behind me, where now the coloring here is a bit purple because it's mixing in with the blue light behind me in the living room with the warm, orangish light coming from this guy. So I would like to have that bit of separation if possible. So anyways, sorry, I'm just going on a tangent here because look, we're all here to learn. So that's a few things, but I think otherwise I've got my key light over here. You know what? Hold on one second. What am I doing? I want to say hello. Raiden Leap, thank you very much for saying hello. You're the first one to say hello. Oh, let's see. I've been having some issues since I took 2 weeks off. Who would have thought? I take 2 weeks off and everything gets disconnected. On Streamlabs, all the points that people had earned, well, I personally had reset it at one point, right? But then even the additional points, it all just like disappeared. But I did have a point to say the first person to type in the chat should deserve some of our hard-earned prize pixels, which is our point system, aka our PPs. So I know how much you guys are demanding the PPs here. So Raiden Leap, hello, and Nico, hello for being here, guys. I appreciate it. Raiden, you said my brother's leaving for college today. Oh, okay. Just use a towel or... sorry. I read you saying just use a towel, and here I was talking about PPs, so then I thought you were going a completely different direction with that. Just use a towel or aluminum foil. I like your suggestions. There's a couple issues, though, because I do have some, I have, some black tarps that I can use, and it's got Velcro, and I think it's designed for these kind of things. It's got a reflector on one side, black on the other. But the problem is I don't have anything to, hook it onto. So it would just drape, and it's not like something I can attach easily. So I do have one of those vertical poles. So I thought if I can attach something. And I have one of these guys that I bought with, a little clamp. And so then I should be able to clamp something, and then maybe I can stick the flag from there. I don't know. I'm trying to figure shit out right now, but... yeah, I was thinking, because I was like, oh, can I just drape it over? But unfortunately, it's so loose that, one, it would add weight to the stand itself, which is not advisable for what I'm using. Yeah, anyways, we're trying. We're trying to figure out a solution there. Tape two sides. Yeah. Hold on. Okay, one thing at a time. Hello, Raiden and Nico. Thank you guys for being here so early. This is going to be a shorter stream. I did mention... for over the next few days, it's probably going to be very, very short streams just because I am juggling a few different deliverables, including more about this, the Nikon ZR. And I have a couple photo shoots, I think, coming up. So, yeah, we'll have to spend some time to do those. But yes, hello, Photo Elite. Oh, okay, hold on one second. I was going to provide some PPs to Raiden Leap over here. Give me a second. You won't be able to see what I'm doing, but let me just go to my loyalty system here. Let's look for Raiden's name. See, there's a chance that you won't even show up here, Raiden, which is super annoying. Oh, there you are. Okay, good. Okay, since you're the first one to type in the chat, I'm giving you 300 PPs. So there we go. Okay, cool. All right, now that we got that out of the way, welcome. And I'm sorry to... Oh, Am I sorry to hear your brother's leaving for college? Probably not. Congratulations to your brother. It sounds like that's probably a good thing. Is your brother, when you say leaving for college today, is he like a freshman? Is this like a, yeah, is he a freshman, first time in college, or is he just returning back there? Either way, I can imagine it must be sad if you're used to seeing siblings all the time and you don't see them anymore. But listen, we live in the best era for this kind of stuff. You can just FaceTime, WhatsApp time. There's like any number of apps where you can catch up with siblings or people all around the world. That's one of the reasons why I live so far away. I live in Dubai. All my friends are mostly are in the States. But I do make a point to try to FaceTime them at times. And thank God for technology. Photo Elite, you said, so what I'm hearing is you need to flag the light. Easiest way to do that is different types of modifiers. Grids are going to be easier to manage than flags. Yes, thank you for that. And I always appreciate that we got some real experts in the chat. So thank you both for your suggestions. Tape two sides, or if you have a fishing hook, attach it to the top. I wish I could show you guys, but my setup, I'm trying not to touch it right now. But basically, so I have so this is my key light. I do have a large grid and like an 85 centimeter softbox. And then over on this side, I've got a Zhiyun, it's a Zhiyun X60 RGB. So it's a tiny little thing, which is why I like it. And it's just got one of those little it came with the little soft diffuser on top. I guess I could put some kind of grid, but the problem is I have this on like a precarious situation here. I got a vertical stand from Elgato, and I'm using one of those, like I just have an arm that keeps breaking up so I can put it further away. So it extends it out. But then, if I put something too heavy on it, I'm just afraid that it's going to wear out the hinges. So I'm trying to do the soft or the lightweight solutions here. Also, I don't have a lot of space. Like I can basically almost touch the light from where I am. So if I add any type of grid system or anything like that, I do feel like it's gonna stick out, and you guys will be able to see it. So I think the thing you guys are mentioning, or the flagging the light, I think that's what I need to go with. It seems like flags are pretty expensive. So I am trying to go with the Raiden approach of can I like somehow custom make my own flag, without I want to jerry rig it. So Raiden, you said freshman, he's 18. Oh wow, man, what a time to be alive. Okay, are you younger than your brother? Either way, exciting times. I remember what it was like when I was first hitting university. The world is just like, everything seems grand, everything is exciting. You're also at your peak of emotionality, right? Your brother's gonna go through all kinds of crazy stuff, but it's all part of like living life. I do miss the good and the bad, right? There's gonna be a lot of peaks and valleys, I guess. But hopefully he enjoys his time there. And yeah, it'd also be nice to be apart from each other. So don't be too sad about that, Raiden. You just turned 16 last week. Yeah, I think, again, we briefly touched on this yesterday, but I think there is some concepts of like life is about balance. And I think the absence, in this case, the absence of the presence of someone you're used to seeing all the time will only make you appreciate their presence even more. But then also it just teaches you independence as well. So it's like, these are all things that, it's not necessarily about growing up, but it is like great life lessons, great kind of experiences to have, especially when you're younger and like, anyways, I think it's going to be a good thing. I'm excited for you. Obviously it's sad to see him go, but then just be excited that obviously he's entering a new chapter in his life. I'm sure he's going to share a lot of what that's like for you. So when you're off to college very soon, you can lean on him for advice. So photo, you said it's not going to stick out. A grid is going to be at most half an inch from the light. Okay, you know what? Time to start doing some Google searches here. So give me a second. Let me... Oh no, we got an empty nest. Where the hell are my cats? I've been hearing Kimbap behind me going crazy. Let me reposition. How should we do this? Let's put this over here. Alright. My cats did not show up to work today. What the F? In the meantime, I'm going to do some Googling. Okay, let's put this over here. So you were saying, photo, grid is going to be the most half an inch from the light. Okay. Light grid. Oh, and maybe I'll show you guys what I'm using. It's a Zhiyun X60 RGB, I think. Yeah. So this is the guy that I'm using for my Molus X60. I think it's this one. Oh, and also, sorry, I totally missed that. Raiden, happy birthday, or belated. You just turned 16 last week. Nice. Sweet 16, they say, right? Listen, cherish your youth, okay? I'm in my early 30s now, or early to mid 30s. And at some point, you just stop counting, okay? And there's a little bit of sadness when it comes to that. When age doesn't mean a thing, it's just a number. Oof. Cherish your youth. Enjoy it. Enjoy when your body doesn't ache just from random things. I think I woke up this morning and there was like a crick in my... I felt something in the upper back where I need to put a tennis ball or something and sleep on it. So the moment you realize that, oof. Unfortunately for me, I discovered it really early in life because I did a lot of high-intensity sports. So my whole body is unfortunately quite injured. So you live with it. Okay, so this is the light that I have. It's a Zhiyun 60 watts. It does RGB. And then I've got a little key light in front of me. This guy. So this is from Elgato. It's like the Elgato Neo light, I think. The super lightweight one. There's also a few other things. Okay, so listen, like I said, we are learning how to be more cinematic and learning about film and stuff like that. I think there's a few things I'm doing that's probably incorrect, or there's something that I'm doing that I'm not a big fan of, but I don't know how to fix it just because of the limitations of my space. What I mean is when I start doing some, I have to start making some talking head videos, right? So as I do my little YouTube videos where I'm, you know, most likely just going to be center to the camera and I'll be talking. Hopefully we'll have good setup here. I feel like, I'm not sure, I could be completely wrong. I feel like this side of my face is supposed to be lit with the key light, and then this one should be the fill light. But you know what? I need to do a bit more research. I think I'm mixing things up now. I've just been looking too much into lights recently. So yeah, a part of me thought that as I'm talking, I should have like the far side be the key light and then the near side is fill, but I might be mixing things up. So, and does it really matter? Probably not. But if I am trying to be more like a filmmaker, I am trying my best to try to do things as technically sound as possible. At the very least, do it so I get accustomed to it. And then obviously I can break the rules later on, but that's one thing I'm trying to figure out. Anyways, so just jumping back real quick. So I got this guy. I don't know what this grid light you're talking about, photo light. Let me see if there's an example here, but so this is what I'm using. Not this guy. Not this guy. Jesus, my cat is going crazy. This thing. Oh, here he is. Hold on one second, guys. I interrupt with my cat. Kimbap. Why are you going crazy over there? You okay? Are you being a good boy? Are you a good boy? Okay. Alright, chill with it, okay? I gotta do a bit of streaming here. We're talking about important stuff like lights. Okay? I do need a light for my cat. So, yeah, I'm not even joking. I want to figure out, can I do like... Okay, sorry. I don't know why I find this so funny, but I was thinking like, what if I do a little miniature set just for my cat, where I have my own little mini key light, fill light, get a rim light. Can you imagine if I had a full-on lighting system just for this freaking cat setup here? And then I'll get like a proper mirrorless camera or something, and like, yeah. Anyways, and then can you imagine if I get a little microphone as well? If I can stick a microphone here. I'm kind of joking, but I also am kind of curious if I can do that. Photo that you said closest to the camera is always key, as it's where you want the attention. Ah, okay, hold on. Let me think then. Let me think. Depending on where I am right now. Let's see. So I'll be staring like this. So I don't really have a near side. Because ideally I'm centering myself. So I guess maybe that means either side is fine, is maybe my assumption. Because yeah, I am planning to just kind of center myself the whole time I'm speaking to the camera. But yeah, maybe it's just more about like making sure one side is properly lit and then the other is just filled in slightly. So like for instance here I can drop it down significantly. So imagine if I wanted a little bit more Yeah, so I might do something more like this. I might drop the fill just a bit. I don't know. These are all things where I'm like slowly learning as we go. Photo, you sent me a link here. See the honeycomb grid on the front of this? That's what you want. Okay, let me click on this guy. Let's check this out. Yeah. Actually, I think I still even have one of these, although I'm borrowing this from Grand Stores, who I work with quite often. You're correct. It's not too big, so that is good. Shit. Okay. I mean, it's only $60, but my God, I spent so much money in the past few weeks. Do I invest in this? Okay. Let me think about this. I see what you're saying, Photoli. That isn't too large. And at the very least, it will narrow the focus of the light, so that this might be worth the investment for sure. But I still want to see, can I just like finagle my own, can I just somehow create my own solutions? But like, yeah, one of the things you'll see on my setup, oh, sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen over here, but over here, it's like the way I have it, I have the light slightly turned away from me just so I can protect from it warming my face too much. But there's still this spillover, and then it's like overly bright on the upper shelf. And the problem is if I drop the light more, you'll see it in the screen, plus it'll spill onto my face a bit better, more easily. I don't know. But I see the honeycomb thing you're talking about. I think that one is feasible. It's not too big, so. But still, if I can find a way just to have like a flag system or just block light from a couple directions, I think I'll be happy. But yeah. The one I'm using right now is this one right here. That little bulbous thing, not this smaller one. Yeah, that is pretty tiny. Okay. I think we'll do what you said. Photo, you haven't led me astray so far. Oh, this one, the diffusion dome. For softer and more delicate lighting, brightening up the space. This is what I'm using. But yeah, I guess the mini softbox should be what I get. Yo, I think is this the same one? Yeah, okay, mini softbox. All right, maybe I'll buy this, okay? All right, outside of that, and thank you guys for entertaining my shopping requests and just figuring out my lighting situation here. Let's remove all those. Let's bring that guy back up. Oh shit, I deleted, I exited something I shouldn't have. I wanted to keep that open because we're going to start going through some notes and everything. Let me open this guy back up. Let's go to ChatGPT. Let's go to streamer mode. I thought I fixed my internet, but sometimes I feel like it's still so slow. Oh, I'm so sad. My ChatGPT has expired. So if you guys remember, I was paying for that really crazy expensive one, the one that's like $200, $300 a month. Now, my justification at the time was I was building my website, so I needed something because I don't know how to code, so I was using it quite extensively to help me figure out how to code my website properly. Not that it required much, but just to help. But yeah, now I've reverted back to like the more standard ChatGPT, which is like I think like $30 a month. But yeah, I'm a bit sad that I don't have that anymore. Okay. Let's just put this over here real quick. Hello, Amber. How are you?
Hey there. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Always happy to chat. Let's dive into whatever you've got on your mind.
Okay, just testing that out. All right, so what is today's agenda? Welcome, guys, to day 49. We're almost to day 50. So tomorrow, I assume I should do something special. Not that I have anything lined up. But it'll feel special because that means that'll be the 50th day that I have been a live streamer. Now, I did have to take a 2-week break in between, but we did a good job, okay? We went 46 days in a row without missing a day, streaming about 7 to 8 hours every day. So that was a really cool experience for me to kind of kickstart what it's like to be a streamer. And we are multi-streaming. So if you're here now, I am streaming across YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. And so it's been a really fun journey, I will say. I feel like of the three, now YouTube is the one I'm most closely tied to in the sense that my aim is to be a proper YouTuber. So we started our YouTube journey about a year back, and now we've been traveling for the past year, and now I haven't traveled for the past few months, and I'm planning not to travel for the rest of the year. So I'm using that time to dedicate to live streaming, creating YouTube content, all that. So that's what you'll get to see when I do these live streams, is watching the behind the scenes of how do I edit my videos, my photos, everything in between. However, just to recap, in this 2 months of streaming, Twitch has been definitely the most communal, and I definitely appreciate all of you guys who've been a part of that. We've met some really cool people on YouTube and Twitch especially, but Twitch has been very fun because there's a lot of tools that is built into Twitch, and there was a photography community that's already there. So it's been really fun meeting all you guys, including Photo Elite. Thank you very much for being so helpful, and Raid and Leap. But anyways, so I do appreciate everyone. Kick has been our it's a dark horse, okay, I swear. Kick has always been somewhat neutral, okay? It's been tough to build a community there so far, but I mean, there's a lot of things I could do better, obviously. But anyways, we're streaming to all three. It's been very fun, and as part of that, we went 46 days in a row. Then I took the past 2 weeks off as we had this super awesome project, which is what you can see on my screen here. Is just briefly from the travel that I did. Now, this was based on the launch of the Nikon ZR. So I was invited to test out their new product, the ZR, which is a cinematic camera. It's in partnership with their Red acquisition and Red Technology. But essentially, they reached out to me based on my relationship that I have with them in the region to see if I would be willing to test out the camera. So very, very last minute, I was able to kind of put together a fun project where I flew to Uganda, and I only spent about like 3 days, I think, roughly 3 to 4 days, where we filmed this whole documentary. I say we, but at the end it was just me, but like still, it was a team effort. But yeah, we ended up filming this whole documentary, and then it took me less than a week to basically put this together. So I'm very proud of the end result. Oh, which reminds me, let's put this into the chat. Oh. If you would like to see the video that I'm talking about, it's only 5 minutes, okay? So if you got 5 minutes, if you get hit with some ads on Twitch, go over and check into this video. It's only 5 minutes long. It is all created with the Nikon ZR camera, shot with the Red RAW codec, and yeah, color graded on my end. I use Dehancer as well, which was an awesome product. So anyways, check it out. Hopefully you enjoy it. Let me see what you said, Photo Elite. You got two options. Option 1, get dramatic. Not going to sit well in most YouTube videos due to codecs and compression, etc. I'll link you the Gerald Undone video deep diving into this. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I by the way, I did finish the Gerald Undone video about the ZR. Honestly, I feel like he's just like so... he's very thoughtful and insightful, right? And so clearly he knows what he's talking about, and he had really good critiques about the camera. So I think everything he said is spot on. And this is kind of where we hope to be in the future, when we do like these kind of reviews and when we talk about our cameras and technology and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. Option 2, get a nice even exposure on your entire face. Most common lighting used is a key light coming from the front at a 45-degree angle to get even lighting. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing here. Now, I did make it a little bit more dramatic just now. I actually don't mind it being dramatic in these when I'm streaming, I guess. But for like I agree with you, for the YouTube video, I'll probably have to lift the fill just a bit. Now, one of the issues I have is I have a monitor that's on this right side. I have an L-shaped, I'm staring right into the corner of an L shape. And so I got one monitor here, one monitor there. And the issue is that I can't really figure out where to place the fill light. I can attach it to the top of the monitor, but the problem is, and this is probably just my poor sleeping schedule, it just accentuates the bags under my eyes. So right now I just have it situated on the ground, but when we do the proper film, I might put it back up on top, and then just figure out solutions to kind of, yeah, you can see a little bit like that, the bags under my eyes. It's not the most appealing, so and we don't know anything about makeup, so ideally I don't have to do that. But yeah, the common lighting is a key light. Yeah, so then I have the key light in front of me at 45 degrees angles, and it's just about like an arm's length away from me. With a huge, it's like an 85 centimeter softbox with the honeycomb grid and everything and the diffuser. So I'm a fan of this guy. It's pretty, yeah, it works, I think. Okay, anyways. Mr. Tap, hello, Mr. Troy Anthony Photo. Welcome back. We haven't really started doing any editing. I've just kind of been having some chit chats and having fun with it. But welcome very much thank you very much for being here, Troy Anthony Photo. Okay, let's just jump back into this thing. And then Photo, you sent me a YouTube video. I'm assuming this is the Gerald Undone one.
Today's topic.
Ooh, I think we can watch this because, man, I keep getting hit with like copyright. I don't know how other streamers do this, because I know a lot of streamers, they watch YouTube videos while they're streaming, YouTube streamers as well as like Twitch and all that. How do they get away without getting like DMCA or copyright strikes? Because I get hit every freaking time, man. It's so annoying. So annoying. Anyways, it seems like this guy, I'm not hearing any background music, so we should be okay.
Is a video that I've been wanting to make for over a year. In fact, it's the reason that I rebuilt my studio into this set from the previous purple one, which I think was like, over a year now. It's weird to think I've been in this new set for that long. This is just gonna be loose notes, and I'm just gonna talk, and I really hope this is useful for any content creators that upload to YouTube, or people that want to just export videos in
Turn down the
general.
audio? Yeah, I just realized it was kind of loud. Sorry, guys. Turn down the audio or play something over it. Oh, sorry, you mean like just to not get copyright struck? I mean, this one, he's not there. There's no like background
Maybe they're
music,
gonna
so.
live on the web at some point. So I'm gonna be showing you some samples. Now, the only issue here is that those samples are gonna be doubly compressed, because I'll be taking them from YouTube, which has already had YouTube compression applied, which is important because that's what I want to show you.
Give me a second,
But
guys. I gotta
that
turn
means
up
when
the
they get
AC.
uploaded
It's
again to
getting
this
hot in here.
video, they're gonna be even more YouTube compressed. But both of the side-by-sides will have the same treatment, so it should still be comparable. But if you want to see the original upload, you can always go back to that video and scrub through it and look at what I'm talking about when I reference an older video. This set, if you look at it now, is sort of a lighter gray on both sides, and there's a lot of stuff on it. And if you compare to the previous set, it was purple, it was dark, and it had a light gradient. There would be, the paint was dark purple, and then there was a light that kind of made it, go through different shades of purple. And I did a similar set to that years before. You think I would have learned my lesson?
By the way, guys, do you guys hear anything right now? Because I have also I have a few new gadgets that I bought recently after my trip to Uganda. So there's someone who I travel with. Shout out to Joanna. She's part of the Nikon team. But anyways, she went there to help me, and obviously she brought the ZR and everything, because you have to be very careful, and obviously it was like secretive and stuff. But anyways, when we traveled to Uganda, it was pretty hot at times because we were just filming all day. And she had this cool little gadget, which I ended up buying myself. Let me see if I can show it to you guys. This guy right here. It's a Jisoo Life portable fan, and it works so well. Like, she would just have it on at all times when we're working, editing on the table, and it actually keeps you cool pretty well. And it was also one of the things you can do to like keep your laptop cool or whatever else you're working on. So anyways, it's portable. There's like some kind of thing where you can even hook it like almost like a necklace. So you can literally just you could be wearing this shit. Okay. And it's super quiet. So I ended up, once I got home, I bought one myself because I overheat quite. It's for me as well, but I overheat a lot. So I got one of those here, and then I bought a fan under my desk to keep me cool as well. So let me know, guys, if you end up hearing like the sound of the fan. Actually, let's pause real quick. So without any music, do let me know if you're hearing some annoying sounds of the fan. I hope it's not. I hope you guys can't hear anything. Because this is like a lifesaver for me. So, okay. Assuming there's no issues, let's continue. Let me put this back on. Okay. Beat the compression. How to get better YouTube uploads. Yo, I need to watch this. Thank you,
YouTube
Photo, for
hates
sending this.
Gradients. Don't do it, especially dark gradients. If you have a really light gradient, which I have here, if you look close, you might see there is some banding and macro blocking and artifacts and stuff, but it's not near as bad as the dark purple gradient. But another thing to keep in mind is that YouTube doesn't like dark. There's sort of like a category of ranges, of luminance ranges, where if it's pure black, it's okay, because it's just going to be black, and it's not going to be compressed, like nothing's going to be given to it because it's no data anyway, just going to be black. But if you go slightly up from black, you could probably maybe use my t-shirt as an example here, or this thing over here. You have a little bit of
The fan is not coming through?
room.
Okay, perfect. Thank you,
It'll be
guys.
mostly
Thank you.
kind of crushed down and still look okay. But when you get to that dark purple area that I had, or anything up to about middle gray, that's where...
Wait, is Gerald Canadian? I just heard him say a boat. Oh no, he's a Canadian. I don't know why I'm saying that as a bad thing. But yeah, just quick pause there. I'm glad he's sharing this. It's probably going to be very, very useful, because I do feel like I have issues, because I oftentimes like to film with like very dark colors or just like dark lighting situations. And I've already talked about the issue I have both when I export in DaVinci, but then in general, yeah, like I think I need to keep finding ways to upload the proper settings. He's Canuck. I don't know what that is, but go Canucks, I guess. Is that like a
It's
hockey
light
team?
enough to be seen in the frame, but not light enough to be given enough data to look good. So you just get like much larger compression than you would on a lighter scene. So I thought, well, I can fix that. I'll make this new set. And this new set will have, everything will be higher key, and the gradients will be minimized like they are up here. And they'll also be broken up, which is another good piece of advice. Break up your shot. You see I've got props in the background. The pegboard behind me is textured, which we'll talk a little bit more about this, but sometimes can help based on principles of like dithering and film grain and stuff like that. But all this helps to eliminate the sort of gradient banding effect that YouTube will create. However,
This is very interesting information here. Let me just quickly check my setup. Photo, you said it's a way of saying Canadian, but caveman. Oh wait, it's like if someone talks about like a hillbilly or like a redneck, that kind of thing, for Americans. Okay, let me just check out my setup real quick here as we're talking. Yeah, because man, I want to be at Gerald's level where I want my own freaking studio. I don't have enough space. I live in an apartment. This is as much space as I got. There is a solution if I ever wanted to. I could always, my bedroom behind me, I could technically, I have like a storage room over there with like one of these like kind of glass walls. It's kind of cool, but it's just storage space. But it's just large enough that I could fit a bed in there and sleep there. And it would be like something I'm used to because I used to sleep in San Francisco. My bedroom used to be tiny. Like they just built the wall in to fit 6 people into an apartment complex, like 2 stories. And so I lived in like a closet. So like part of me was like, what if I downsize? I don't really care anyways. What if I turn that storage room, the tiny closet room, into my bedroom? And then if I turn the bedroom into like a photo studio, like, you know, turn it into like a proper studio setup, you know what I mean? Like, you know, have all the tarps or whatever. Or I can turn it into like a podcast room, or I could turn it into a YouTube where I can actually do my live streams and like YouTube stuff. That'd be a huge sacrifice to obviously my sleeping space, but then it gives me an entire bedroom where I can have the space I need, use the walls in a proper way. I don't know, could have some fun with it, but I'm not going to go down that route just yet, but that was like a thought. It's like, yo, if I can be successful enough. And then the other thing is like just opening up my own photo studio, right? And then do projects from there, do all the other stuff. I cannot wait. I hope that's our aspiration. Okay, let me look at my setup real quick. So assuming when I'm doing my YouTube videos, I'll be staring straight ahead. Now what we have going for us is, let me just, I didn't have an audio source there, right? Thank you, Photo. Yeah, because I basically have a scene where it's just the full screen, but I only use it to capture my thumbnails for like my streams. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so what I was saying is basically I'm gonna keep the 5-gallon jug of water to diffuse the warm light coming through, and we'll make it our signature thing. Okay, I swear this will be like something we'll sell as a product someday. And then I think my guitar, I'll just shift it over into the opening here because obviously it's getting sucked in by the, well, and also I'll probably end up closing the door when I'm depending on the time of day, or I might even put a light source in my bedroom just to add a bit of light and some depth. I'm not sure, or we just keep the door closed. We'll see. And then I'll be centered, of course, in the shot. And then I think I still want to keep a bit more on the blue side. If I can create the flag situation or just make it so the lighting here doesn't turn purple, I'm trying to see if I can make it so the lights don't blend. So then, yeah, we'll have like proper blue on one side, some warm there. And then here, obviously, we've got our bookshelf and just a assortment of things, I guess. And so yeah, I don't know. Like I think this setup works for what it's worth. For like the YouTube videos, like yeah, I think I'm happy with it. But obviously, it'd be really cool to have your own like setup and space. But yeah, I gotta look into this whole gradient situation because I do have a lot of like just solid colors, so maybe that could be a problem.
Introduced a new problem, which is why I never made the video of like, here's how to make a set that YouTube won't compress as heavily. Which is that when I made this set, I started to look worse. So I'm gonna try to illustrate something now. Look at the details of my face. Look at my pores, look at my, you know, whatever, nose and hair and all that stuff. If I make the rest of the frame extremely dark, it's quite likely, because I've done this test myself, that all of a sudden I get sharper and all the details look better on me. YouTube only sort of gives you so many bits to work with. And if you create a scene that's brighter and has all this other stuff in it to defeat the bad banding dark scene issue, well, now this stuff requires bits. And those bits get taken away from your face, or rather spread more evenly throughout, so you get less detail on your face. I think these are important things because if you can start with the set design and production design, then it helps when it comes to just changing settings on your computer, which we're about to get to now. If you shoot with a picture profile that doesn't add any sharpening, for instance, I shoot this one in S-Log 3, and I have the sharpening turned all the way down in camera because I like to do it in post. And in fact, I don't do it in post because when I watch the file on my computer, not on YouTube, it looks great. Just that 4K export, there's enough detail there. With the lens that I use and the camera I use, there's enough detail. Like I'm looking at myself on the monitor right now and I go, this shot looks outstanding. Then I upload it to YouTube, face gets all mushy. If you add sharpening, or rather do add sharpening, well, if you're using a profile that already has quite a bit of sharpening applied, like some of the profiles are just fit for delivery right away, then maybe you don't need to add it. What I would say is, for me, when I add just enough sharpening that it starts to look slightly over sharpened on my computer, that's good for YouTube. YouTube makes everything softer. This isn't fully like just a like targeted compression thing. It's just everything looks a bit softer on YouTube. So sharpen it a bit too much in advance so that when it gets to YouTube, it...
I'm curious what microphone he's using. Is he? I'm gonna assume he's using some kind of like boom, like a boom mic or something. But yeah, like his audio sounds so good. Yeah, and that is also one thing that's a little bit annoying, is like this, having this microphone in the frame. I mean, I guess I could use like a lav mic when I need to record my YouTube videos, or I keep it and just keep with the aesthetic of just having a microphone in the shot. But I don't know, like I'm not fully sold on saying that you need to have this microphone when you're doing a video. I kind of like, for instance, how it looks with Gerald, where yeah, it's just you see his upper body, you don't see any other stuff, and it's just clean. But yeah, I don't really have a solution for this other than if I just move this out of the way and use a lav mic, or drop this out of frame. But then this is not like a shotgun mic, so I'll end up, yeah, it just won't be as clean audio the further away it is, I'm assuming. So I don't know, we're learning here.
falls back to the right sharpening. This made a huge difference for me. Probably the single biggest difference I can say is slightly over sharpen your footage and it'll look way better.
Also, just in case you're wondering what I'm doing, so over on the right, as I'm listening to this, again, thank you, Photo, for sending me this. I do like his videos. I haven't seen a lot of them, but he's very knowledgeable. But as I'm listening to this, I'm also reviewing some of my the ZR footages, because I'm working behind the scenes on a product review. And so I'm just kind of reviewing some of the clips that I might end up using as part of like my field test. So as I talk about, like, hey, I took this out on this trip, I'm just trying to see if there's some key shots that kind of best represent some of the features of this new camera. So I need to keep a note. I have some pen and paper and I have my Notion, but I just need to keep track of like what are the key features and some of the things like, shots where we got like, good representation of the dynamic range, and shots when it's like super dark, super bright, stabilization. So maybe showing again the walking shots that I took and seeing if it's good stabilization built in. Obviously anything where it feels like the colors really pop. And then, yeah, so what other key things do I need to look for? The microphone stuff, yeah, audio level. So like the chimpanzees when they're screeching, I just got to find a few of the key ones because then I want to obviously show the power of the audio. A few things I don't know if I have access to in the metadata is which of these shots did I take with the built-in microphone versus the shotgun mic. I hope I can recover that, or I hope I can see that in the metadata somewhere. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to rely on memory. Yeah, so basically that's what I'm just doing over here as we're gonna be watching this. And then photo, you said for one, Gerald is using a shotgun mic and he's got a static setup in a sound treated space. Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, these shotgun mics. Oh yeah, that does remind me. So I did test out a shotgun mic from Nikon. What is this stand? It's like the Nikon. So this was something I was given permission, or not, I mean, as if like, but there was something that they were also testing out that was proprietary, is a shotgun mic that attaches to the new ZR. So I was able to test it out, and while I won't necessarily be able to give a good comparison, although I do have some Rode mics, like the shotgun mics and everything, good, like, you know, expensive, good quality ones. Yeah, I'll probably just do a standard review of just like, what did I think of it? I have some test shots and audio from the different settings on it. But I was a big fan. I was a really big fan. One thing I said that was annoying though is we didn't have the dead cat to put on, so it was quite windy at times. So unfortunately that gets picked up a bit. Let me see. What is it called? It's the MED10. MED10. Dun, 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 dun. Nikon MED10 mic. That is not it. Shotgun mic, this one. Photo, you said for one, Gerald's using a shotgun mic. He's got a static setup in a sound treated space. You, on the other hand, are using a broadcast mic designed for radio. It's not intended to be subtle, and your mic arm isn't helping matters. The low profile arm is great, but it's meant to hold a small condenser mic from Elgato, not a huge broadcast mic. Yeah, listen, we're just like putting things together and hoping for the best. I have done some YouTube videos with obviously I was using the Beacon mic at the time. So like aesthetically it's not bad. I'm not like saying it's completely out of like, you know, the standard or the norm. But I would love to get to a point like with Gerald where, yeah, you just have a clean, nothing in front of you, just talking to a camera. But yeah, I think having the mic in front of you, is obviously it's like an aesthetic thing, or it's a style thing. So this is the microphone that I was using. Without the dead cat, unfortunately. So, but yes, I was using like this, and it was really nice. Like honestly, I love it's like such a low profile, and also now with that whole digital hot shoe, you just like insert it in automatically, everything's connected. And then I didn't know the differences. I didn't get much information about this. I was just testing on my own. But yeah, so I was shooting mostly in the focus mode, and then there's the pure mode, and I think pure is supposed to be better for like the human vocal range, or like when people are talking. But yeah, so any of the audio you're listening to, most of the times I had the shotgun mic attached. So if you are a fan of the quality of the audio, it definitely was from mostly this guy as well as the built-in. So yeah, we'll probably throw this into the review as well, because I do have some audio. And again, I was a bit lucky, right, in terms of this shoot, because what better project to test audio, especially a 32-bit float, than in a surrounding like this where I'm in nature and you've got all the elements. You know, you got wind, it was raining at times, but then also you got these screeching chimps, right? So I think this is a good stress test. So yeah, Maple has that kind of setup, and I kind of want it myself for various reasons. What kind of setup does he have? Like without the mic, you're saying, like a Gerald style, or with it? I'm not sure. Okay, anyways, let's keep watching. And
on YouTube, of course, if you are shooting an S-Log3, somebody might have some LUTs, link in description, that'll make your whole S-Log3 color grading experience so much easier and give you perfectly accurate color in just one step. That's what I strive for with my LUTs. Check them out using the link in the description. Anyway, getting back to this, I find that, like, say, you know, like I've got a little stubble on my face, right? If the edges of this stubble aren't well defined, YouTube will kind of compress it more. But if you add a little bit of sharpening and it gives it a bit of an edge outline, then YouTube says, don't compress that as much. preserve those details. Now, the other one that kind of surprised me, and one of the reasons why I had to reevaluate this, is I've always been trying to make my exports more efficient, using a better codec, using...
Yo, what's up, Philip? Philip Jedra. Good to see you. Good to see you. I think it's been a while, right? Yeah, so welcome. I'm back from a couple weeks off. We were working on this project, so what you're watching me do is I'm reviewing some of the footages, the raw footages, essentially, from that trip. So I shot all this with the pre-production unit, and it's not the proper, like I had to do some conversion because obviously the file isn't compatible, like the raw file isn't compatible with DaVinci as of now, so I had some beta version to be able to convert it and all that. So, but like basically you're just watching me review some of these clips because I'm going to put together a product review in the coming days. So I'm just working on the script for it. I'm thinking through like what is it that I want to share, what were the features, what are some of the pros and cons, that kind of stuff. But yes, welcome. Photo, you said the TJ, I'm assuming that's the name of the mic, the TJENARE. Okay, let me check this out. Also, let's see what's the price of this microphone here. B&H, let's see. $336. Holy Christ. Well, listen, I was a big fan of it, so but I think that's more expensive than the Rode. I have like the Rode shotgun mic. The NT something, right? Oh shoot. Rode shotgun mice I do not have. Show me. I think I have this one. Yeah, so I have this guy. So it's a $240. So that the Nikon one is more expensive. All right. Well, in some ways I'm excited to hear that because if I can get my hands on it, that'd be great. But yeah, the quality was quite nice. But I just don't have a good comparison. Okay, what was I gonna look up? Oh yeah, you said the Tejanari. TJENARE. But yes, Philip, you said with the ZR, interesting. How's it feeling? That means hey in Swedish. Oh, well, there you go. Tejanari. For a second, I got so excited. I thought you were sharing what Maple uses for his crisp audio. And okay, well, now I'm a bit disappointed. Tejanari. Well, now I might as well. I'm already here. Let's look up how to pronounce this word. It's just equivalent of hey yo. Tejanari is an informal Swedish greeting similar to hi, hello in English and is derived from the word janare, meaning servant or to serve. Okay. It is a common casual way to address friends or peers and can also be used to ask how are you or what's up. Yo, how do you get from servant to how are you? Etymology. The greeting comes from the older expression jag ar edar odumjuk shanare, which means I am your humble servant. Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing, but part of me is like, yeah, I mean, anyways, okay. Formality. Tejanare is a casual greeting used with people you know well. Okay. But you use a more formal. How do I pronounce this thing though? How to pronounce Tejanare? Shanara. Okay, I was close. It's like cheese. Oh, okay. It creates a cheese sound, or similar to the CH in the word cheese or chair. Chair. Che. The first E has a short vowel. Ed. Okay. Che. Na. This is similar to na with father, like father. Che na. Che na. And then the final RE sounds like a short E, similar to the A at the end of sofa. What? Sounds like a short E, similar to the A at the sound of sofa. Okay. Che. Na. Ra. Chenara. There you go. Well, Chenara, Philip, and Photolite and all you guys. This is Chenare. Okay, whatever. Listen, we spent too much time on this, but I feel like I learned something today. So as we say, I live life every day hoping I've learned something to expand the brain. And so today's brain expansion is Chenara. Unfortunately, I'm going to forget this after the stream ends, but you know what? It's whatever. It's a sh sound, like hush. Shenara. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Anyways, Philip, yes, this is footage that I took with the Nikon ZR. So I was very fortunate. I had an amazing opportunity to film a project using the new Nikon ZR. So I took it out for a few days in Uganda where I filmed a short documentary. If you'd like to check it out, I'm going to be constantly promoting this because I'm very proud of it, but also obviously for selfish reasons, I need to keep plugging my channel and the work that I make. If you have 5 minutes, please check out this video that I just linked in the chat. It is the working title is Island of Second Chances. That is the 5-minute short documentary film that I made, all created with the Nikon ZR. And so, yeah, I'm very, very proud of it. I did it in such a condensed time, which is also teaching me that I think sometimes I work better under pressure. And so I feel like this is something I need to always put a deadline to me. But yes, I hope you enjoy it. If you catch anything that I could do to improve that video, please also let me know. We already got a few suggestions or feedback, which I take to heart. So please, by all means, let me know your thoughts. But this is also, it was an exciting experience. Exhausting. I was just filming all day. I went into this without really a good idea of like what we're going to end up filming. I had an idea of the theme, but I didn't know how this would turn out. I've never made a documentary before, so this is definitely my I chose quite a daunting time to try to, stretch my skills in a new direction. But thankfully it all turned out well. So yeah, we ended up trying to create a nice story within 5 minutes that tells the story of the island. I try to have a broader theme to the film. So it is, while it's focused in on one subject, or one human subject, Dr. Rukundo, who is the main executive director there, who's been there for over 16 years. He's also the veterinarian there, or like the head one. But I also want to tie it with obviously the chimps. So it's very much about showing the bond and the human and the wildlife connection between this doctor, the staff members, and the chimps that have been rescued. And I wanted this to feel like a story about the island, so a bit of like mystique, or like it's an island, right, full of chimpanzees. How crazy is that? But then adding personality to the chimps, also the plight of the chimps, and then what is the mission of the sanctuary and what are they doing? And I wanted to have tie it all together into a nice story. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. That start shot is powerful. Well done. Thank you very much. Philip, are you you're talking about from the actual film, yes? Yeah, this was my hero shot. Oh man, I was so happy with it. So I shot this with a 35mm f1.2 lens, and I shot it at aperture 2. I think this is a f2, 35mm. I don't know if I have the metadata to see this, but most likely I was shooting either at the 800 ISO, or maybe I was shooting at 6400 with an ND filter attached to the front. So I might have shot this at 6400, which is the second base ISO, which I didn't even know what that word meant. I didn't know this concept of dual native ISO until this trip. So that just shows you how little my knowledge base is on any of this. So we're going to get there. But anyways, I think I shot this at the 6400 with an ND filter, dropping it back down to like a balanced shot. But thank you very much. This was my hero shot. And I'm very proud of it because it required me, and we have multiple shots of this, I'll share the behind the scenes, where basically I was just walking backwards while hand holding the camera and trying my best not to shake too much, and also trying my best not to trip over any number of the tree branches or roots in the forest path, or run into any trees for that matter, while keeping them in frame. So it turned out really good. I was happy with it, but it was not easy. It was not easy. But I figured this will be part of what I put in the product review, because I will talk about the IBIS. I think they say it's like 7.5 IBIS stabilization, which is like, you know what? Some of the reviews I saw, they're like, oh, it's good. It's not that good for like walking shots, but I'm like, you know what? Let me prove you wrong. Not only did I do a walking shot, I did a backwards walking shot, and I think the results turned out pretty good. ZR records float sound also, correct? Yes. That's one of the coolest things about this, is the fact that it's a 32-bit float. And yeah, it's built internally into the camera. They have some technology called the Ozo, which is like some kind of Nokia, if I'm not mistaken, technology. I have no idea. But basically they boast, or they kind of talk about how this is like an internally, everything's there. You don't have to worry about clipping your audios. You don't even have to worry about what settings you put. And that's so nice for someone like me, because I oftentimes am traveling out into the wild, out in nature, and it's not like a controlled environment where I know exactly the audio levels or things like that. You are going to get situations in the way I travel where you might have the sound of, let's say if I'm in the city life, then it'd be like the honking of cars or things that are going by. Obviously for wildlife, it'll be, in this case, the chimpanzees screeching as they're rushing past you. But then it could be as quiet as the sound of like birds chirping or like the rustling of the leaves. And this one did such a good job, I think, of capturing all those differences. We'll test out a few because I also need to review this in full. But yeah, I think that's one of the big selling points of this camera is the 32-bit float. Salted Serenity. Hello, what a name. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat before, so welcome. If this is your first time here, I welcome you. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy the streams. We're kind of deviating from what I normally do on the streams because obviously I just came back from this project and I'm here to kind of like just talk it through, right? We're going to milk this, okay? Because listen, I am not a big YouTuber. I am not a big content creator. I'm a nobody in the grand scheme of things, right? And so for Nikon to invite me to be a part of this process, I'm very grateful to them for allowing me this opportunity. But yeah, it's like, yo, this is pretty cool. So I will milk this to the maximum as much as I can. We're going to talk about this cool experience. But obviously, anyways, how will be the difference, bro? iPhone 16 Pro plus a filmmaking rig versus a dedicated camera like an entry-level Sony ZV E10 Mark II. Actually, I think Photo Lee, who's in the chat, is probably the best one to respond to something like that. So let me think about this, though. An iPhone 16, or like, is 16 Pro, is that the new one that came out, or the one that they're touting? Is that 17? I know it's got like a 50 megapixel sensor in it or something. I'm not sure how their video quality is, but I've been a big fan of like the iPhones. They do really well, right? You can also shoot in the ProRes RAW, and it's fantastic. I used it on a number of my trips. Now, the big problems oftentimes is that I don't have enough storage space on the phone to capture that properly. And also the quality does, ultimately, it's not anywhere near the power of my, like even my Z6 III or the Z9s or things like that. You see a noticeable difference in the quality, even though you shoot in that RAW format. Now, what you gain by shooting with the iPhone for like cinema stuff is it's really stable. It's also lightweight, so it's easier to be stable at the same time. And it's just very, very action-packed. You know, it's like it's good for most situations. You can just have it ready, but you also don't get the telephoto in the same way that you do with the lens. What's up? Low Base. Hello. How is I? I'm doing well. Thank you very much for being here. Let me quickly see. So then, I don't know much about the entry cameras for Sony, Salted Serenity. And then you're asking about filmmaking rigs with the versus a dedicated camera. So this is where I think, and this is the angle that I'm going to approach my product review, and also just in general, like how I view this camera and who it's for. It's very much, I think, in my opinion, meant for someone like me. I am very much like a run and gunner. I am a travel solo filmmaker where I'm oftentimes limited in terms of storage space of like what can I pack in my camera bags, in my luggage when I fly out somewhere. So like I don't necessarily have the space to carry a gimbal plus like additional accessories to be able to do like that kind of filming. Whereas with the ZR, everything you see in this film that I created was handheld, except for the interviews. Everything else, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure everything, was filmed hand-holding. And that's like the style that I'm most comfortable with because it allows me the most flexibility of quickly changing lenses, swapping things out, or if I have a second body, it just allows me flexibility to capture the shots as quickly as possible in unpredictable scenarios. And this camera, basically the way I think it's touted is that you don't necessarily need to apply a bunch of rigs onto it. You don't need to like build out a transformer unit that has the external monitor or the microphones or the extra batteries and the gimbals and things like that. The reason for it, obviously to a certain extent, right? Like, can it compete against like the really, really expensive professional cinema line? Probably not. I don't know. But at least for my prosumer needs, I was able to create something that I feel really proud of as a documentary film. But it's got that red codec. It's got a 4-inch external monitor, or sorry, not external. It's got a 4-inch screen. So then you don't necessarily need that 5-inch monitor screen. It's got that built-in 32-bit float, so now again, like, you don't necessarily need the microphone, and we'll test it out. I'll share some of the samples that I have here. Yeah, so like all in all, it's allowed me to create a film that feels film worthy and cinematic in a single body, and just so I can just attach a lens, an ND filter, and a shotgun mic at most, and boom, I'm ready to go. So I was a big fan. Photo, you said, honestly, they're marketing the ZR all wrong. It's not a compact cinema camera. They need to pivot it into being a ZVE1 contender, a vlog and content creator camera. So this is where I'll kind of push back on this one, Photo, because I did watch, I know that, I think that's what Gerald had mentioned as well. I don't think so. I think for them, I'm happy they're doing this because, one, they're trying to punch above their weight. So I don't mind that they're trying to tout themselves as competing against some of those top cameras. Because, one, it shows their ambition, and let's say none of it's true. Let's say it's like, you know what, you cannot contend against the Sony FX3 or whatever other big guys are out there. Fine, let's say that's true. I still want I still want to see in a brand that they're ambitious, and so for them to put themselves out there to contend against those guys, it's a good direction, in my opinion. Like, this is not anything to do with like the technical specs or anything. I'm just saying like subjective, or I don't know, like just from the spirit of it. I like that they're trying to punch up, right? And then secondly, I view myself right now as a vlogger and content creator, and I'm shooting with the Z6 III, the Z9, and that to me felt very much like a vlogging camera. The Z6 III, let's just use as an example with the flip screen and all that. And it's using the similar, like, partially stacked sensor, everything like that, the ZR and the Z6 III. But then now it's got that red codec in there. It's got that higher dynamic range. It's got that 32-bit float. So now it's like trying to say it's not just for vloggers. And I think it is designed for someone like me that wants to be more than a vlogger, but I don't have any of the technical background. It's intimidating to think about becoming a professional filmmaker. But now I have this, like, prosumer model that lets me actually start to ease my way into being, like, more professional, having more cinematic shots, but not necessarily feeling like I have the label of a vlogger, right? Not to say that's a bad thing, but yeah, you feel a bit more professional. So I do feel like, I think they're doing it right. Or you know what? I think I am the market that they should be targeting. And so I do want to spend some time to make sure I stress that a bit better. Philip, it has internal stabilization. Yes, it's like a, it's got 7.5 IBIS, I think, stabilization. But yeah, I, to be honest with you, I don't know how that compares with some of the other cameras, but it seems decent enough is what I've been seeing. And then for my own use, I felt that, like I said, the proof is in the pudding. This one was me walking backwards pretty quickly because the chimps were moving pretty fast. And I felt like I did a pretty good job. And obviously the shot itself is a bit shaky, but then once you apply the stabilization in DaVinci or whatever else, it smooths it out quite nicely. So, and it didn't like crop in too much. Oh yeah, then it shouldn't be cinema, but I guess it's changing. Yeah, like I said, I know, sorry, I'm reading chat very slowly, but I like it. I want them to keep touting themselves as competing against the Sony FX3 and all that. Philip, you said I recorded with a task cam. What is that? TAS cam for some time now. Can't be bothered with keeping track of sound. Okay, I don't know what that is, but that sounds interesting. Is this another Swedish word that you're teaching me? Tejare or whatever, right? Photo, it's nowhere near being an actual cinema camera. The only thing it's got going for it to making it a cinema camera is the red codec. Other than that, it's a vlog camera with 32-bit float. Canon C50, that's a compact cinema camera. Listen, fair enough. Like, you know a lot more about this kind of stuff than I do, for sure. But like I said, that's why when it comes to advertising, I think, I don't know how much they have advertised certain things. I don't know like what the proper marketing message has been. But from my side, I just view it as like, it very much, from my perspective, feels like a level up. And the level up from where I am currently is that currently I do more like vlog style. Yo, thank you very much. Is this a raid that we got going? Hells yeah. Yo, Nicholas Moeller Photography. Thank you very much for the raid. And let me go ahead and find you on Twitch, because it sounds like you are a photographer. Since you got Photography in your name. Let me go ahead and follow you. Well, thank you very much for the raid. We are also a photographer, but I have shifted more towards videography And what you're seeing now is some of the shots that I took with the Nikon ZR, which was recently announced. I had this wonderful opportunity where they invited me to test out their pre-production unit. And I took it with me to Uganda for a few days, and I filmed a full documentary of the chimpanzee island sanctuary. So if you like this, let me go ahead and promote myself a bit. You can check out the video. It's 5 minutes on YouTube. Feel free to check it out. This is entirely made with the new Nikon ZR. It is a pre-production unit, so you know, I can't necessarily say it's exactly what you'll get with the final production. But yes, I was really proud of it. I was able to put it together, and hopefully it tells a good story. It was my first time doing a documentary style. I'm just chatting with some people in the chat right now about the ZR. How does it compare with some of the other actual, let's say, like cinema cameras? So Photo Elite, I think everything you're saying is absolutely true. I'm just giving a bit of pushback because, like, partially because I feel like it's anecdotal, but it really did more so than the Z6 III, Z9, Z8, and all those guys. This one actually made me feel like a cinematographer, like a filmmaker, right? Without any of the qualifications, the camera itself made me feel like I was not finally, but like I felt, especially in the post as I'm looking through this, and I agree with you, a lot of what makes it feel cinema is the red codec, but that goes a long ways. Like, it's not to like, I don't feel like that dilutes the impact. I feel like that is a huge selling point, is the fact that now that Nikon and Red are together, part of what you're hoping for is that they're applying some of that Red technology, but also still, you know, factoring the best of both worlds if possible. And so that red codec is exactly, I agree with you. It's like, that's probably the biggest selling point, is that that's what makes it cinema, right? But again, the price point being $2,200 compared to the ones you're mentioning that like are in the $3,000 to $4,000 range. That's another thing to kind of show that this is, this has real bang for your buck. Let me quickly read. And again, thank you very much, Nicholas. Thank you for the raid. We're going to check out your channel later because, yes, I want to see what kind of photography you do. Actually, let me just jump real quick. I think you said something. You got to run. See you soon. Love to find photographers here on Twitch. Thank you very much, Nicholas. Apologies, I'm a bit slow on the chat. I think you said something earlier. Capture the moment. We framed you in our viewfinder, raw from landscape to wildlife. Let's focus on that ZR. Nice. But yes, thank you very much, Nicholas. I appreciate it. And let me see. Photo Elite, you mentioned... The difference will be night and day in details, clarity, dynamic range, and overall quality. Oh, I see. You're responding to Salted Serenity. Don't get me wrong. I love that they're doing this. I love that they're making a cinema camera, even if it's very lacking in some areas. That means we can expect Nikon to push things more into areas that the FX3 and C50 cover. Exactly. Yeah, that is my sentiment as well. While I have an affinity towards Nikon, I do feel like competition's always good. So I'm glad to see all of them will hopefully keep making better products, and then we as consumers will benefit from that. Salted Serenity, you heard of the DJI mirrorless camera rumors? No, I have not. Yo, that sounds insane. I'm not really good with keeping up with any of the stuff that goes on in the space. So like I said, I'm very much a layman in most regards. I don't have a lot of built-in knowledge. I don't do a lot of research. I just kind of do my thing and live my life in this weird world I'm in. I'm trying to be better about understanding film technology now and, like, you know, lighting and all that kind of stuff. They've been using 32 float for a while. Yeah, actually, Philip, I'm a huge fan of DJI, the DJI Mic 2. I use it for all the interviews that I've done. There's a trip last year where I did like 50 different interviews, and like proper ones with like high profile people. And I used the DJI Mic 2s with the lav mic connected to it. And yeah, it was so nice to have that built-in, or like the 32-bit float with the, you know, the off, what do you call it, recording straight to the actual microphone. So yeah, big fan of that. Yeah, he streams. Hello, low bass. Oh, what's up, Daytor? And thank you very much, Daytor, for leaving that wonderful comment on my YouTube channel, or on that YouTube video. So thank you. Unless it was a different Daytor, but yeah, thank you very much. Thank you guys for checking out that video. It's yeah, I'm very, very proud of it. We're doing a breakdown of it as we speak, but obviously I'm getting a bit distracted here and there, which is a good thing. I got a raid. Yep. Thank you again, Nicholas. And Salty, you said it's on September 15th. Oh, okay. Excited. It's true, probably will be a game changer. Yeah, it's so crazy, the pace of technology and the amount of new stuff that we're seeing out in the market, right? So like I said, to me, even like the Insta360, right? You got like the Insta360 Go. I have a Go 3, and I think there's a new one that popped up, or the Insta360. It's got a whole new form factor. I'm a huge fan of those action cameras, and they're so powerful. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of all these things. But yeah, like when I travel, oftentimes I use the Go 3 and I attach it to a clip on my hat. So on one of my recent trips to Uganda, for instance, where we were doing some gorilla treks and chimpanzee treks, you literally get a point of view shot of me as I'm literally going through a dense jungle to then confront the gorillas. Really, really cool feature, and it's like tiny form factor, so you don't have to worry about carrying it around. Tebow Angel, yo, hello Tebow. I think you are also new. I haven't seen your name before. We're such a small streamer, I kind of recognize new names. But yeah, welcome. Saying this camera is more of a vlogging camera is really pushing it, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I am very much in the opinion that, because I think Photo Elite is absolutely correct. Like everything you're saying, technically speaking, all that, 100% you're on point. I view this camera as very much like if there's on a spectrum of vlogging and then full professional cinema camera, this one sits right in the middle, somewhere in some sweet spot in the middle of all that, especially because of the pricing of what it's at, right? So they price it even cheaper than the Z6 III, right? Because I think Z6 III is maybe like upper 2,000, like 2,600, something like that. And this is $2,200. But it's got so many awesome features on there that honestly, you know, unless you're nitpicking on the specs, like to most prosumers like myself, as long as you're telling me like, yo, you're gonna be able to create awesome film quality as a vlogger, hells yeah, I accept that it's a vlogging 2.0 or a vlogging leveled up, like a vlog plus or whatever, or like cinema light. You know, I'll accept any of those terminologies, but at the very least, all that matters to me is that I do actually feel a tangible leveling up of my own abilities, my own skill sets, and also my interest, right? Because it's the camera is also really beautiful, and also, you know, if you enjoy what you're shooting with, it makes me more interested in shooting more. So all of those reasons, I'm a big fan. Photo Elite, like Yobo said, competition is good. Yes. If they come out with something that's absolutely bonkers, that's going to be great for everyone. Yes. Unless you work for any of the companies that gets left behind, yeah, it's always good. How could you possibly be getting distracted? Waves arm around. Yeah, I get distracted way too much. Okay, anyways, what are we doing here? We're supposed to watch this Gerald Undone video, and then slowly, guys, I'm just kind of going through some of the shots from this trip because I'm putting together a script for my product review. Now, if I could share what I have written from my product review so far, let me find it real quick. So I'll give you guys what my current line is that I'm going to say. I was thinking in my opening hook, I'll say something like this. I have to admit something. I am not a pro cinematographer. I am a travel and wildlife photographer who got obsessed with reels, moved into YouTube vlogs, and now I'm fumbling my way towards cinematic storytelling. But I think that's exactly why Nikon invited me to try the new Nikon ZR before the launch, to see whether a camera at this price with these features can help a self-taught creator make work that actually feels cinematic. And if you're like me, an aspiring filmmaker and a solo run and gun traveler, this review is for you. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking will be my opening lines as you see me, and then I'll do some B-roll showing some of the things that I did in the past. So I'm saying, I was like a travel wildlife photographer, so showing a montage quickly of some of the photos I've taken in the past. Then I say I've gotten into reels, so then quickly just showing some of the short form content I've done, moving into YouTube vlogs, so then I'll show a little bit of like my vlog style, and then talking about, obviously, this is the next step in that journey that I've been on. So that is ultimately the way I'm going to be talking about this product review. And so Photo Elite, I think this is why my only pushback, I say pushback, it's not really pushback, because I'm agreeing with everything he's saying, but where I'm coming from is that while I agree with you, I think this market exists. I think they've hit a sweet spot of people, because I think Photo Elite, you're clearly someone that's very, very well versed and really knowledgeable in this space, right? You understand everything from like the different film camera technologies, the lighting and everything like that. I represent someone that is, I want to curse on stream, but I'm trying not to for now. Anyways, I'm one of those more like bimbo idiots where I just kind of do this and I fumble around with the buttons and just see what works, right? And there's a lot of people like me out there where we start as photographers or we've got these hybrid cameras, but we find video too daunting and it takes a long time. It took me, like the better part of 2 years to get comfortable with like videography, because there's just a lot more that goes into it. There's a lot of accessories. There's a lot of different things you need to know. And so when someone like me sees those professional Sony FX3s or the FX6 or whatever else, where it's like this massive box, it doesn't even look like your traditional consumer cameras anymore. It's like a massive box with this other thing, and then with the, the handles and the microphones, everything else, it just feels way too daunting and overwhelming to like want to even approach that space. So for something like this ZR to pop out into the market, where it's reasonably priced and it's in marketing itself, in my opinion, as something where you don't need any of those additional attachments. Audio's good as is, monitor screen is large as is. Boom, just shoot with this and you're good, and you can make film. I think that's like a not necessarily untapped market, but there is a potential there to capture people like me who just wants any good excuse to get a camera that makes them feel like filmmakers, even if they're not necessarily, and then we'll fake it till we make it kind of an approach. Yeah, so Photo, you say, Angel, yeah, it's kind of sitting right in between the spaces. It's got more than any vlogging camera, but it's also lacking a lot that cinema cameras need in a professional environment. Yeah, exactly. So it's like in this weird middle of the spectrum, but I think that's a good, valuable space to be in, I guess, is where I'm putting my money, let's say. Salt to Serenity, Yobel is multi-streaming. Most of the discussion is happening over on Twitch, and he's reading the chat from there. Oh, thank you very much, Photo. Yes, we are multi-streaming across YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. So I appreciate everyone who's on the different platforms. We've been having fun with this, just trying out these different platforms and see, like the different communities that are there. So, okay, so anyways, that's my opening hook. And so you get the sense I'm definitely not trying to pitch myself as like, hey, I'm a experienced filmmaker, that's why you should trust me. I'm very much saying I am an inexperienced filmmaker, but hopefully if you're going to watch this video, and hopefully I can entice you with the short film that I made and quickly just kind of teasing with some of the shots, hopefully that's enough to hook you to keep watching this and let me share my perspective as an idiot, and why this is idiot proof, let's say. Okay, let's keep watching this video.
Finding ways to better balance size to quality and that kind of thing. And so the biggest disappointment for me was that H.264 looks better on YouTube than H.265. Even though H.265 is more efficient, theoretically you could give them both the same amount of bits. You'd think that H.265 would have a better image. I don't know what it is, but when you upload an H.265 file to YouTube, it hits it harder than it does an H.264 file. Another one that sucked for me was don't use a quantizer. If you don't even know what that word means, then maybe this isn't an issue in the first place. But often when you go to your export settings, you'll have the choice between constant bitrate, variable bitrate, and then maybe it'll say something like constant QP or CQP or something like that. That is the quantizer. It's the thing where you can set like 3 different values. The closer to 0 the value is, the higher the quality, and the bigger the number, the lower quality. So what I would do is I would change them 1 digit at a time until I could no longer see a visual improvement. And the advantage is that they also
yeah, so even a shot like this, I feel like with the Z6 III, the Z9, all that kind of stuff, I feel like I would have been struggling to get as much detail as I did across the sky. Now, granted, it's like obviously sunset, so it's not as overblown in general, but still, I feel like if I'd shot this with my other cameras in the past, I wouldn't have been able to get like such good dynamic range on the shot. So, yeah, I was a fan. Now, one thing I'm also trying to learn how to use these the waveforms a bit better. One thing I wish, because as I was like watching a bunch of YouTube videos about like filmmaking and stuff, one thing I did see is that most professionals use the false color. Is it called false color IRE? False color IRE? Is that what I'm thinking of? Or is it just called false color? Yeah, so I've noticed that most professionals use this false color spectrum. And it seems like some of the real professional cinema cameras have this built in. Other times you have to use an external monitor, and then it will essentially flip your view so that you actually see your entire, like everything is captured based on this color spectrum. So then this is like one of the best ways to determine if your shot is or if some pixels or some areas are overexposed or underexposed based on the colors that you see. That would be cool if they were able to, put that in built in to the camera. But yeah, when I was shooting, I was trying out these waveforms built into the camera. Usually I was using the histogram when I'm shooting. So I'll use like a normal, like I have the option for the histogram. It's not built into the RGB like this one, but it was just like a single one. But then yeah, I tried using the waveforms. But I'm gonna be honest, it's still very foreign to me. My understanding is you just don't want anything to be at the top bar or at 0. And that's as far as I know. So, but yeah, like I said, we're just kind of going through this. I'm gonna share. There's one shot I've been keep referencing it. I haven't found it here, so I think I just go through the raw files, where I shot some birds flying directly against the sun, and I felt like it got such good dynamic range on the shot. So we'll go through that. Okay, let's keep watching this.
They're more efficient for file size than if you just sort of set like a really high quality variable bitrate. And I would dial that in perfectly. And I've been doing that for the last 5-6 months, dialing it in and being really, really, really happy with the export. And then I've been getting comments lately of like, hey Gerald, the quality of your videos is going down. Are you still uploading in 4K? And I started to compare the YouTube to my export, and yeah, it kind of doesn't even look like 4K anymore. In the last couple weeks, I tried changing all the settings again. And if I don't use a quantizer, if I don't use constant QP, quality goes way up on YouTube. I think efficiency of bitrate is not what YouTube wants. YouTube actually just wants more bits.
I think I just use
and it
constant
tells it
bitrate.
something about like do higher quality. But unfortunately, this doesn't apply all the way up because I also tried uploading ProRes and DNX, big files that aren't nearly as compressed as H.264, H.265, that kind of thing. And there's like no noticeable gain over my optimal H.264 settings. But I also went the other way and tried, what about AV1? And again, punished. Super efficient codecs like AV1 get punished by YouTube. Okay, now let's talk about the actual settings in your NLE that you can change to
this guy's speaking like different language to
your
me right
YouTube compression experience. Before we get into that, I do want to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, Storyblocks. Storyblocks is a stock media platform that offers unlimited downloads of diverse and high quality content for one predictable subscription cost. Just choose a monthly or annual plan and enjoy a library of over 1 million HD and 4K video files, images, and motion graphics templates, including a continually expanding inventory of DaVinci Resolve templates that I've come to really appreciate. And more importantly, all of those assets are created by real people sharing real experiences. Because in this age of artificial intelligence, where an increasing volume of what we see online is generated by AI, Storyblocks is proud to be providing authentic stock content created.
I need to know how to get sponsors. Okay, that's another challenge as we level up our content creation journey. Now, my question is he being sponsored directly by Storyblocks? I'm assuming he is, given how large a channel he is. Or do people just because I always see people like promoting Squarespace, for example. Now, are they promoting it because they're actually being paid by them? Or they have like an affiliate link, so at the very least they can say, hey, this video is brought to you by Squarespace, and if you create a Squarespace account, boom, here's a discount code. So like in a sense, could I do that with Dehancer, where it's like I'm not sponsored by them, but they did provide me an affiliate link. So then, yeah, I don't know. I have to figure this out. That's how little I know about the space. But Photo, you said sponsors. They're literally saying that, but I don't know if are people misusing that word? Is what I'm trying to say. Like when people say, "Hey, this video is brought to you by" or "sponsored by" blah. Are people loosely saying this in the YouTube community just to anytime they have an affiliate link and then those it's like, oh yeah, this video is brought to you by Squarespace, blah, 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 and here's the link. Or this is brought to you by Storyblocks, and then here's my link, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I don't know. Affiliate link is different than sponsors. Yeah, I totally get that, but okay, let's assume this is like an actual sponsorship. I need to figure out how do you get these sponsorships. Obviously, you got to, prove your worth and all that, but hopefully we'll get some sponsors in the future, okay? As long as we start posting consistently. I need to look into the Storyblocks thing, though. That might be helpful.
Actual artists that AI can't replicate. Plus, anything you download from Storyblocks is 100%
if it's sponsored, it means that
licensing,
the sponsor paid the YouTuber to make the video.
Not worrying about usage rights. The platform is incredibly easy to use, and the library is frequently restocked with commission content based on customer demand to ensure you'll have access to files that are not only high quality, but fresh and diverse. So to streamline your workflow and get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, head to storyblocks.com/undone or click the link in the description. This next one might be a bit of a placebo, but I also started testing.
Also, I feel like I think this trip was a good test. One, I mentioned the audio, obviously, like testing that out. Some things around stabilization, sure, but although that wasn't like necessarily a big focus, but I guess it is for me because I do a lot of hand holding shoots. But the other is like shooting chimps is like really difficult. I've had an opportunity to shoot chimps like I guess 3 to 4 times now at this point, and they're never easy because like yeah, they're entirely black fur, right? You gotta mix it like kind of like light, but mostly just like very very dark fur coating or whatever you call this throughout, and then, so it can be really tough to like grab focus. It can be tough just to keep focus, or even just having your exposure set properly. And then also you're shooting oftentimes inside forests, so it's already like low light situations. So you know, whether let's say imagine for photography, good luck trying to shoot this at 100 ISO. You're probably gonna have to shoot at like 1000 to 2000 plus ISO for most of your shots, unless you're ending up shooting with like a f1.2 or yeah. So there's all these trade-offs because you don't get the proper lighting or the most yeah. Anyways, so I think this was also a good test with the camera to see like, can it actually get good quality? Can it really distinguish between the blacks and the gradients when you're shooting a subject as dark as like a chimp? So Tebow, you said, I think this may be a perfect camera for my use case. Looking that I've been looking to upgrade from the Sony ZV E10. I wanted to get a Sony A7 IV, but I'm seriously rethinking this now. Yo, Tebow, I swear you didn't. I didn't pay you to do that, but I might have to screenshot that and share that with the Nikon team because I'm positive they'll be happy to hear you say that. But yeah, listen. I'm only one man with my anecdotes and my experience, but clearly I am a fan of Nikon, enough that I'm saying Nikon as much as I can. Although for the YouTube product review, I'll probably say Nikon. I'll be full American for that one. But clearly I'm a fan of Nikon. And at least from my side, for all the reasons I gave already, I think this camera, I'm so excited for it. I think it was excellent. It hits this market sweet spot. The whole conversation we just had with Photo Elite, I feel like if you're someone who wants to get into filmmaking, but not necessarily like, you're not necessarily like a professional, but it's like something you're aspiring to be, like myself, my God, to have this camera, it gives you a lot of confidence where you don't feel like, okay, I bought the camera, now what? Shit, I have to buy cinema lenses. Oh shoot, now I gotta buy this proper microphone and this battery pack, and I gotta get the gimbal, and I gotta get this thing and that thing and the external monitor that I hook up with the HDMI. And you can just shoot with the camera and a lens and feel like you're hitting cinema mode. Now you can always add more accessories, obviously, and sure, by all means, you can always level up. And then maybe that's where Photo Elite, you're absolutely correct. You're gonna hit some ceiling at some point compared to maybe some of the competitors, higher tier products. But that for someone like me, if you're aspiring, if you want that confidence, you don't want to feel intimidated, this was like really, really excellent. And it's so light. It's lighter than my Z6 III. I think it's like 630 grams, I believe is what they say, with the battery in it and stuff. So again, it's like a compact camera, and it's perfect for me as a traveler. So the Razor, hello Razor. Oh man, you might have been in my chat before, but I don't recognize your name. So welcome. Thank you for being here on the Twitch side. Also, I guess they are more likely to interact with you. What are you referencing there? Shoot, sorry, I missed. Are you talking about the chimps? From Nico's rate. Oh, gotcha. Well, welcome guys. Thank you very much for being here. You're saying they're more likely to interact with you. The chimpanzees, yes, when you're out in the wild, my God. We had a conversation a few days ago, I think, because someone was asking, like, do I get terrified when these chimps are, like, so close to you? And, like, these are obviously rescue chimps, so there's a bit more human interaction that they have on, like, a hourly and daily basis. I've done a number of chimpanzee treks and gorilla treks in the past few years, and I also have them documented on camera, where I've had chimps rush right up to me, like literally charge right up to me and then brush past, right? And then one like does a fake, like it's like fake charging me, and then it turns at the last minute. I never felt terrified because I was so distracted by trying to film the moment that I didn't have time to think about panicking. I was literally just staring at my camera the whole time, hoping that I got the shot. But yeah, they are much more animated. They rush past you. They're like just super active animals. So way more than the gorillas, in my opinion. So a nice little cheat code. If you ever want to do like a wildlife trip to Rwanda, Uganda, the Congo for like primates or like the great apes, obviously you need to go see the gorillas, right? Because they are they're King Kong, the silverbacks, the babies. They are such fascinating creatures and so imposing. To see them in the wild, it's almost hard to match, in my opinion, for any like land animals. However, they're expensive. It's very expensive to see the gorillas. Chimpanzees come at a fraction of the cost, and in some ways, I think they rival the gorilla treks because the chimps, larger groups, right? Like the family of like 50 sometimes or more, and I think actually it might even be like close to 100. And they're so animated, they're much more lively. They're screeching. There's a lot more activity going on. So especially if you're a photographer or videographer, a lot more action to capture. Razor, you say when you're talking about the difficulties about photographing them. Yes, exactly. So usually I recommend a zoom lens when you're shooting for the chimps and the gorillas. So like a 24-70 works quite well. 7200 also is great. So the way I usually traveled, I would have two cameras. I have one on a strap, and this would be, let's say, with my 70-200. And then in my sling bag, I have a Peak Design sling bag. In the sling bag, I would have my secondary camera that's got maybe a 24-70 attached. So that way, at any moment, if the gorilla, the chimp starts getting close to you, boom, you don't have to worry about switching lenses. And it's pretty tough to switch lenses in the forest because there's a mixture of things, right? It could be it's raining, so you have to worry about that. There's like literally you're just in dense jungle everywhere. So you just got to be careful anytime you swap lenses. But yeah, and the moment goes by so quickly. So now in the last couple chimp treks, like in the past trip I was on, I was actually shooting with the 400mm f2.8 for the chimps. I wouldn't recommend it for the gorillas because the gorillas are just bigger in stature. So to photograph or film them, it's like really tough with the 400. But with the chimps, you're able to get, especially at certain distances, you're able to get some really, really cinematic shots. You can check out on my YouTube channel. I have a whole series of one of my trips to Uganda, and you can see I have an episode on my chimp experience. I have an episode on the gorillas. The gorillas I shot mostly 24-70 and 7200 f2.8 lenses. For the chimpanzee, I shot a mix of the 400 f2.8 as well as I think a 70-200. My last trip, I shot with the 85 f1.2. And oh man, it was amazing. Now, obviously, you have to worry about the focus. And so in hindsight, I should have shot more often in like f2 as opposed to at f1.2. But I really want to stress test it. But yeah, in those low light situations, having a prime lens is beautiful. But obviously, again, you get limited by when they rush past you. So I just had an 85 f1.2 on one of my cameras. On my secondary camera, I put like a 20mm f1.8. So just in case when they're coming close, I would just pop open the wide angle lens and just film the moment. We had some really cool shots. I haven't gotten to them yet. We're going to get to it eventually as we go through all my trips. Tebow, you asked, have you tried photo with this camera? Yes, I have. But the problem is I haven't actually been able to access the photos because since it's like this beta, whatever internal format, Lightroom can't read it. I can see it in I have something called Photo Mechanic Plus, but I haven't actually been able to put this into my Lightroom so that I can edit the photos properly. So I need to reach out to the Nikon team and see if they can help me, if it's been refreshed, or how I actually can access my photos. But without me sharing it necessarily, it should be pretty similar to the Nikon Z6 III because they're both using the same sensor. So they're both 24.5 megapixel partially stacked sensor. So same autofocus, same everything, I believe, as it's like the X-Speed 7 or whatever it's called. Same with the Z9. So you should expect similar results on the photo side as with the Z6 III. Now here's what I would say is one of the negatives. Kind of a negative, right? It's not a big major negative. this one, it's got a lot fewer buttons. So they designed this to be very minimal. You don't have a bunch of buttons. You don't even have like the viewfinder, right? So you just have the camera body, and there is no hump where you look through the viewfinder. You just have the 4-inch screen. So they removed a lot of things. They removed a lot of shortcut buttons. They don't have a back button, focus button anymore. So they made this compact and minimal, which is good, especially in these kind of film scenarios. I've enjoyed it. There's a few learning curve stuff, but generally speaking, it's been fine. Just a few firmware things I think can fix a few issues that I had. However, for photo, yeah, it's just, in my opinion, I think it's better to shoot with the Z6 III or any of the other actual cameras, because this is clearly a video first instead of a photo first. So while you can get the same exact quality, because you don't have all these shortcut buttons that you can quickly jump to, you don't have a back button focus for myself personally that I like. It just ends up, and also if you want to shoot vertically, as far as I know, there's not like a vertical grip. I'm not aware of anything like that just yet. So you just get a bit more limited in terms of how much flexibility you would have to shoot with it. Otherwise, the quality will be just like the Z6 III. So, and I'm a fan of the Z6 III, by the way, so I've got some really excellent shots from it. It doesn't compare to a Z9. Like the photos I take with that on another level, it's like, what is it, like a 50 versus like a 20, mid 20 megapixel. But yeah, no, I think photo is good too. Initially, I thought for a moment that this camera would be video only. And part of me was a bit nervous about that. Like, I was excited, but I was like, I still want the ability to take photos because I am a photographer as well. So it would be sad to not have the functionality of taking photos. So it is there. And I did take a bunch of photos during this trip. Just as I had free time, or when I switched from doing video, I would switch over to photo. And yeah, there's some really cool shots that I'm excited to edit. But it is very much a video first camera. Okay, let's keep going, Mr. Gerald.
MP4 versus MOV files. It's marginal, but I feel like MP4 files looked slightly better. And so I put this all together, and then I started using MP4 H.264 variable bitrate with sort of high quality tuning, and then I was just increasing the bitrate like 5 megabits per second at a time until I could no longer see.
Here's an example where I think I clipped the highlights, possibly. Because you can see here that tree trunk, or that tree in the background is like super white. So this might be one of the examples where I didn't have the, I might not have had the exposure dialed in properly with the ND filter as well. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure I overexposed there. So yeah, there's a few learnings, and I think it's also because I was playing around with different ISOs. So I was trying to figure out how the base ISO of the 800 compared to like the 6400, or trying out some of the other numbers in between. So here's a moment I missed, right? I didn't get the proper lighting, but it looks damn good on the the chimp. Just had such a cool pose. So I had to switch to a wide angle for this guy. But yeah, I'm just a big fan. I do see a noticeable difference in the quality. Now, I know some of the things people wanted was, it would have been nice if they, because this is a red codec shot at 12-bit color depth. And so that's similar to the Nikon Z9 and the Z6 III, where I can shoot in NRAW, which is the Nikon's proprietary codec. And that one comes in 12-bit. So if you see any of my YouTube videos that I've posted of my vlogs, my travels, those were all shot in NRAW more often than not. And so, like, I'm a huge fan, by the way. It gives me really good colors. I'm really happy with the shots that I've taken so far with NRAW. And it's also very, very efficient as a file. Like, I remember just doing some field tests. When you shoot in NRAW, you would end up being able to shoot 3 times as much as if you shot in the Apple ProRes 12-bit RAW version that you can shoot in. So you end up being able to, like, I don't know however they designed it. It's just a much more efficient codec. So then for me as a travel shooter, that's so key. I would take losing, like a bit of dynamic range, let's say, or even a bit of like color resolution or whatever. I would take a bit of that sacrifice for the amount of savings in terms of storage space. I think I would accept that because, especially when you're filming like this, when I'm traveling, it's once you eat up these memory cards, you get nervous, right? Unless you're carrying around a crazy amount of memory cards, which by the way I do. I think at this point I've collected like I think over 8 1 terabyte CF Express cards, and I burn through those quickly when I travel. So, but yeah, the NRAW allows me to film 3 times as much as if I was shooting in Apple ProRes. And I think when I briefly checked, I think the red codec it might be the same. Like I think it might be just as efficient as the NRAW. So, and I did read, anecdotally that the red codec tends to be very efficient in terms of the codec itself. So I think when I was filming with my 1 terabyte card, I was getting around 28 minutes of filming at 6K 60 frames. So sounds like a lot, but it does go by very quickly. But again, if I was trying this in Apple ProRes, I might only have a third of that time. You're welcome, Tebow. Hopefully that was helpful. And yeah, I obviously I'm going to spend more time just breaking down the features, and let me give it some proper thought in terms of what are the things that I enjoyed the most about this camera. What are some of the drawbacks?
Anything better on YouTube when I uploaded it. And the highest bit rate to where I couldn't tell the difference anymore was 45 megabits per second. And that's at 24 frames per second. If you shoot at a higher frame rate, so like 60 frames a second, you're probably gonna want a higher bit rate. So I'll put all my settings on the screen now. I use DaVinci Resolve and I use NVENC, but I don't think...
Okay, I need to look at this settings. So he shoots at MP4 264 encoder NVIDIA. Okay. I've never done that. Do I even have that as an option? Okay, so let's say MP4 H.264 encoder. I don't have this option. Is this like an older video maybe? It's not that old. Okay, I don't know how he has that option. What else? 4K, 24 frames. Yeah, normally I export at 24 frames just given what I normally shoot with. So he restricts it to 45,000. Interesting. I think I kept restricting it to 80,000 for the bit rate. But I wonder at some point, I'm assuming YouTube will like condense it or compress it in some bad way. Encoding profile, auto, automatic, variable bit rate, preset medium, high quality. Okay. I don't know what half of these words mean, but I would like to copy when possible. Tebow, you said, yo, your documentary film is awesome. Thank you, man. Well, listen, I will always accept praise, so thank you very much. If you like it, make sure to leave a comment on there. Make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to me, of course, all of the above. But like, definitely show it some love because all of it is super helpful. We are a small YouTuber, so every little bit of engagement does help its performance. And yeah, we are shameless. We are shameless pluggers of our social media. I would love to grow out my YouTube channel as much as possible and do this full time, right? Like just feeling like I can, in the same way that I'm saying the ZR, what I like about it is it allows me to feel like I'm a professional filmmaker. I want to be able to feel like I'm a professional YouTuber. So, yeah, I appreciate it though. Thank you very much, Angel. Tebow Angel. It was a 5-minute documentary, by the way. So there is a world where I'm thinking I might do an extended version because especially with the time restraints that I had to get this delivered, and also just some of the requirements, I wasn't able to go beyond that 5-minute threshold. And I feel like there's a lot of the story I had to chop out. And so you guys can see this in the behind the scenes. That's hopefully some of the value you'll find in watching my streams is I'm sharing everything with you guys, right? You get to see all the clips, especially the ones that don't make it. And then I'm going to try to create more content with this. And I might do the extended version because I ended up doing interviews with, I think, 3 or 4 other individuals. We have so many more footage to kind of pull from. We have a lot of adventures we went on, including that boat ride and some of the feedings. So yeah, I think there's a more comprehensive story I can tell still. But I'm really proud of that 5-minute one. It stands on its own. And I feel proud enough that I'm like, you know what? I would like to submit this to like, I don't know if they're like film competitions or like film festivals or things like that. But I would love to be able to like see, can I share this video with those kinds of people and get their thoughts, right? But yeah. So anyways, right now I'm still just kind of going through some of the footages here, trying to figure out which of these clips do I want to share in my product review. This one is a cool shot. It's a bit more like, obviously there's a lot of motion going on, showing the slow motion effect. I think I was just doing some manual focus pulling. So yeah, I'm just trying to find some of the key shots that I feel were more emotional or provocative, but then shows a bit more of like the film style. So I think I want to show at least one example like this one I'm showing right now, where we do like a nice little focus pull or push or whatever you call it, just to show like, oh yeah, we're using one of those film techniques, right? Shifting from the foreground to the background. So I think I have a few of these examples. I might pull from all of them or just one or two of them. Yo, BC! Welcome, welcome. Hello, good sir. Happy Friday. Is it Friday? Holy Christ, it is. Oh, man. Yes, happy Friday. Sorry, I don't mean to sound so glum. Yeah, it's a good day. It's a Friday. Yes. Welcome, BC. Hey, BC, I don't know. I hopefully I fixed all the issues that I was having before. Basically, since I took that 2-week hiatus, everything broke down in my home setup. My internet network connection also was needed to be reset. I had to like call my network provider and like actually have to do a hard reset. I mentioned all the point system disappeared, and it seemed like you couldn't do the point stuff. I couldn't even see your name on the points list. I know I reset it anyways from earlier, but yeah, CBC, you're new. You have 0 PPs. No, you have 0. You have no PP, my friend. And you know what? That's okay. You would like this one chimp that was that I met called Sunday. Sunday also had no PP. Unfortunately, he was castrated at a young age. But Sunday was the chimp that's super tall. Like literally, you can barely fit him in the frame. But obviously, I know we're talking different PPs here. But yes, BC, you're gonna have to earn your PPs back. Okay. It's been so long, I don't even remember how to earn PPs. What do I put in there? Do I put points or no? Do I put gamble or exclamation mark points? BC said my wife won't be happy that my PP's gone. Okay, no, that just tells me how many points I have. Okay. Yeah, you'll have to put in exclamation mark commands, and I think it'll tell you all the different ways to gamble and earn some points. Tebow, you said gained a sub for sure. Thank you, thank you. Do you think this camera would be suitable for freelance video work? I've launched a creative agency that mainly does video, and we're looking to get this camera. 100%. Listen, I kind of view myself as a freelancer, right? I try not to label myself as such, mainly because like I'm trying to focus more on like these personal projects or like my personal things, as opposed to not necessarily marketing myself to clients. I do some client work as well, so don't get me wrong. But yeah, I'm trying to see if I can make this YouTube and live streaming and this kind of content creation a profession. But yes, I would absolutely say this is good for freelance work. So especially, yeah, for video work. I mean, yes, it's like with other cameras, you can always attach, like I had a small rig that I used during the shoot as well, because I needed to attach like the external monitors to record when I was shooting, like what the settings look like, stuff like that. So yeah, you can treat it like any other camera. Just know that you're getting that excellent red codec. It's half the price, right? So think of it this way. At $2,200, you can now, instead of purchasing the latest Sony or Canon that will cost you $3,000 to $4,000 or whatever, now you get the body, you get this camera at $2,200. With the savings, you can buy a shit ton of 1 terabyte memory cards, so you can film in that beautiful 6K 60 frames in the red codec, and then yeah, use the other savings to purchase a nice shotgun mic or whatever else you need, and there you go. You end up get the rigs and all that, so you'll have the savings and you end up with a really nice quality. So again, this is why I'm here. I'm trying to show you guys what that quality looks like. And again, this is a pre-production unit, right? So, and this is not. I don't quote me on this, but I believe the final product's quality will be much better than even what I'm showing right now, because because I had to use a different software to convert the original codec file to get it readable inside of DaVinci, because obviously the product hasn't launched yet, so the actual codec or whatever is not really in the market. So I'm sure that once DaVinci and all these other programs are like compatible with this new camera, it should hopefully mean that the quality gets even better. I could be speaking out of my ass though, for all I know. But the point is, I'm showing this to you guys because I want you to see, like, I'm not I'm being genuine when I say I'm so excited with what I shot, that I really do feel like this leveled me up as someone that feels like a filmmaker now, not just like a travel vlogger or like doing a diary type thing. Here we can even show the difference. So yeah, this is how it looks like when you're shooting in RAW. And then it's even got you can actually put the red LUT, so you can download some of the different LUTs from Red and actually put it as part of the view assist. So while you're filming, you can actually see what it looks like in the red converted LUT format. So that's a cool feature, right? Because then it's like, instead of shooting in this kind of ugly gray format where you might not really know if some of these will turn out really bad in the final, you actually can see in real time what your shot looks like. So yeah, the colors, everything has been so fantastic. Actually, one of the shots I know I need to use, let's find it. I even added the dehancer effect to it because it just looks so cool. Where are you? This one. But yes, thank you very much. And yes, I'm a big fan. I think you should definitely go for it. You should definitely get this this camera when it launches. I'm not sure when it launches, but let me just take a few things here. Okay. Wait, don't you owe me for Hey Dummy yesterday? Oh, yeah, that's right, BC. Okay. Well, now that you should be in the system. Streamlabs. Let's go to our loyalty system here. Loyalty, where is BC? I thought I turned off that voice.
Team Cannon! Team Cannon! Team Cannon!
You know what? That actually works against your favor there, because you got an old grandpa geezer voice shouting its support for Team Canon. All right, you can take the old geezer. All right, we're here for the Gen Z crew, okay? They're Team Nikon, I'm sure. All right, I just gave you 300 PPs, BC. Thank you very much. Okay, let's keep going here. Okay, so this shot for sure, I want to keep showing it as much as possible because I think this one is a good representation of the dynamic range. We had really good, you know, I can make this much darker. I'm a fan of dark, but obviously I was shooting this in nice lighting here. Or it was like closer to sunset, and there was a nice glow. Or there's a, yeah, it was the sunlight was hitting this this chimp in a nice way. I did apply some of the dehancer bloom and halation to this just to kind of spice up the fairy tale kind of feeling to it. And then also because all these bugs were in the air, and just the way the light was bouncing off the bugs.
Back in my day, Nikon was the best camera in the industry. But today, Canon reigns supreme.
Jesus Christ. Whatever, man. Again, as if we care about the opinions of an old geezer, okay? Speaking of geezers, look at this chimp, okay? This one is a true geezer, and I was like, yo, this one's great. I'm sure this one is Team Nikon, though, and we accept. But yeah, it was like this cool slow motion effect, really crisp quality. In my opinion, like, yeah, the clarity's sharp. Seeing all the bugs in the sky almost makes it look like fireflies. So I thought it was a really cool effect. And you know, he's got this nice like slow motion walking towards the camera at times. So I think this will be a good one to use in the product review to kind of like just point out the colors and the dynamic range of this camera. Yeah, at this point here where it looks off to the distance, off to the left. Yeah, I was a big fan of this one. And again, with that whole dehancer thing, I've been playing around with it. Obviously, I ended up not using the dehancer too often in my film, or I only use it in some select parts because I figured like Nikon might not be happy with me using too much of that film effect. Because the whole point is like I'm assuming they would like to be able to show the best resolution, like the best quality that's possible with this camera. And so for me to artificially apply about a lot of noise and grain and other things, it kind of takes away from showing how sharp, how crisp some of the shots can be. So I only used it in some creative moments, but otherwise I was trying to keep things to look as as high resolution as possible. BC said, dude, the quality's insane and the lighting was perfect, especially with the visibility of all the gnats. Yeah, you know, I don't know what that bug is called. Oh, no, these are lake flies. Lake flies are so annoying. They're harmless, but my god, they really just come out of nowhere. This island is surrounded by the lake, Lake Victoria, I think. But yeah, thank you very much, man. Listen, I say thank you, but it's not really... I shouldn't say thank you because I didn't do much. I literally just had the camera, I hit the record button, I just made sure to put it in the proper ISO setting, and I let the camera do the rest. So I was there just to hold the camera as stable as possible and just swap out different lenses at times and just make sure the focus is in focus. But these colors and everything is like, oh man, I'm like thoroughly impressed by this. Now, again, and you know what, we have people like Photo Elite in the chat who are like just much more well versed in the space, and I've never shot with one of those other, like the Sony FX3 or the FX6 or anything like that. So sure, like I'm sure if I like film with one of those top end $4,000 $5,000 cameras, maybe I'm looking at that and be like, yo, holy shit, like look at this crazy quality and resolution, everything. Yeah, for sure, I'm assuming that would be the case as well. But at least in my world, with what I'm normally used to, and again, with this price range and being with a Nikon camera and like sticking with my Z mount and all my lenses, I'm so excited. I'm excited for where this will take Nikon. I think this will be a hit. If I had to put my little predictor hat on, I think this camera will do really well in the market once it launches. And hopefully, this will then set them up nicely for their next launch, whatever that is. Hopefully they start building out cinema lenses, like to, you know, I hope that's like in the trajectory is my hope, is that they're just going all in onto this whole like cinema direction. So then that will be fantastic. And I think each of these will be big wins. And yeah, like honestly, I hope you guys will believe this, but these are my opinions, right? And if I truly felt like this camera wasn't a game changer, I would not be talking about it this way. I hope you guys will always see that I'm very genuine or very honest about my opinions. Now, like I said, I have a working relationship with them. I'm very grateful to Nikon by all means, but they're not keeping me from saying negative things or anything like that. So we embrace all the brands. But yeah, at the very least, I've never been more excited. The last time I was excited for Nikon in this way was the Z9, because I was like, finally, thank you, because I kept hearing from all you BC, Team Canon, and Sony people with your beautiful mirrorless cameras. I was like, finally, Nikon is really like trying to put its money now into the space. And now I'm just as excited, especially with my interest in filmmaking these days. I'm even more excited now that we have one of these bodies. So, yeah, anyways. T-Test says, I'm enjoying your stream, by the way. Thank you very much for saying that on the Kick side. Now, T-Test, I'm going to say, every time someone chats with me on the Kick side, it tends to be someone who is selling me something. So, either way, I appreciate you being here, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. 2 big wins, says BC. What are we talking about? Oh, did you win some? Nice. You're earning your PPs back. Good on you, man. Okay, let's keep watching some of this, though. So I think that shot, the one I was just showing, I definitely need to... Actually, you know what? Let's start working on this, because I do need to make this... I want to make this video as soon as possible, because we might as well maximize when not many people have had their hands on this camera. I need to hopefully put out a video sooner rather than later, because then what's the point of having access to a camera before everyone else and having that exclusivity if you're slow as F around editing it and putting it out there? So I want to create a new timeline. Let's call this 0... Man, I'm really bad with these naming conventions, but let's say 04 product review. Oh shoot, I created a folder for it. My bad. Come on. Why can't I just want to create a new timeline. There we go. All right, we'll call this one 04 product review. We will put this at starting time. I don't know why it always starts at 01 for the time code. Format, we're gonna yeah, we'll just keep it at the 4K. We'll leave this at 4K. No. Hold on. We're gonna do a different format because like we shot so much in 6K, and I want to see what's the bare minimum I can show without losing too much resolution. Which I believe is if I do instead of 3840, I can do 3984. Instead of 2160, I can do 2240. That's like the lowest resolution I shot in. It's like an oversampled 4K, but this is what I shot in for the 4K 120 frames per second footages. For my 6K 30 frames and 6K 60 frames, I was shooting at 6048 by 3402 resolution. And then for some proper 4K ones, I was shooting at 4032. Anyway, these numbers don't matter, but okay, we're going to keep it at this timeline. What is Apple Immersive Workflow? I've never seen this option. Let's ask ChatGPT here. Amber, can you tell me what is enabling Apple Immersive Workflow in DaVinci Resolve? I haven't seen that option before.
So it looks like there's nothing specifically in the project files about an Apple immersive workflow in DaVinci Resolve. It might be something relatively new or just not covered in our existing nodes. In general terms, though, if you're seeing something like that, it might refer to some kind of integration with Apple's immersive video tech, like 360-degree or spatial video features. But if it's not ringing a bell right now, it might just be a feature that's not widely documented yet.
Okay, so we're not going to use it for now. Okay, so I'm gonna create this guy. Let's just drag this all the way over. Okay, so this is gonna be our new timeline as we work on our new our new video project. And then let me see here real quick. This was, what did I say? Oh, I wrote it down. Potential slow motion. Timeline settings. Stare in your eyes. Okay, so 3984 by 2240. Let's copy this guy. We want this one. Hiya. And then I need to figure out slow motion in real time. So this is what it looked like in real time. Let me just change clip speed to 100%. And let's turn up the audio. Let's see how the sound was on this one. All right, here we go. Oof, that wind sound. Yeah, like I said, that was one thing I was a bit annoyed by. We weren't able to find the dead cat to muffle the wind sound until the very last day. And then it was just randomly discovered. So unfortunately, there's going to be some wind sound. Is this a Tumbu? Yeah, I'm a fan. But like I said, this one's going to be slow motion, so we'll keep it in slow motion mode. Let's go back to real time. Okay, let's listen for some of the best audio. I'm going to have to be careful because some of these will be blasting in the ear. I think that moment I want to use as well. Because it's a nice moment. Oh, but then it's, oh yeah, I cut this one. Yeah, so all these clips are much longer, but I ended up clipping just some parts out.
Now let's not. Before that zero.
Do they have mating season all of them?
Then there's our ability to
That's nice,
modify
Ruben.
and make.
Oh, that's a good shot. Look, you got a really good shot of him running.
So probably the dot.
Oh, I'm mixing audio. I was like, wait, what are they referencing? Okay. So I think a shot like that, I need to just double check. Let's keep listening though.
Then now let's not. Before that zero.
Do they have mating season all of them?
Then there's our ability to.
Okay, let's turn this down just a bit. Come on, buddy.
Nice.
And then, you know what? Let's full screen this guy now. Let's just focus on
Ruben.
this.
Oh, that's a good shot. Look, you got a really good shot of him running. Wow, nice.
So human have developed in such a way so you always have to pretend like there is power all the time.
Yeah, even a shot like this is like, you know, a lot of dark areas, but I'm pretty sure, I mean, we'll double check now. I'm pretty sure we've got everything in there. Yeah, I just happen to do it very dark, but you can see, right? Like just as an example.
Sorry, the chimps will come out.
So there, that's more down.
So yeah, there's so much detail in the shots. I'm a big fan. But yeah, also I'm just listening for the audio because I need to use a few examples in the product review where I can show the quality, right? So hopefully you can see how the audio is capturing everything from ambient sounds of the birds chirping to literally hearing this chimp chewing on whatever he's eating. Yeah, so let's see. I think this one seems decent. Yeah,
So
without the thing.
rig, yeah. Because now I don't see.
Hold on. Yeah. I'm waiting for the there's gonna be some screeching chimps at some point, so hopefully we don't blast our ears. Yeah, I'll keep it. Let me see it from this view so I can keep track. Yeah, so if not for the wind sound, oh man, we would have all usable audio from this, I feel. So yeah, I wish there was a way. I need to double check which of these that I shoot with the built-in microphone versus the shotgun mics. You can see there's a bit of shake on these ones. You'll see some shake, but like these all in post when I do some stabilization, it does disappear quite nicely. I'm trying to figure out if when the audio drops like that, is it because these are some of the footages without the shotgun mic? Or did I like manually make some changes? Because, oh yeah, here's a good test as well. So since I shot this, or these are all 32-bit float, right? So let's see. Without changing the decibels at all, this is what it sounds like right now. Very, very quiet. Unfortunately, I can hear the wind sound, so this is not going to be fun. But okay, so let's see how much we can lift the volume. Oh, Jesus. Yes, for some reason, the chimps, they do this weird thing where they'll start like making like, would you call it like farting noises? They, there's a word I'm thinking of where they purse their lips and then they, I mean, I'll just let you listen to it, but one second, let me turn it down a bit. Raspberries. Yeah, it does like the raspberry, whatever that term is. Yeah, it's so cool. I do love that this is just all built-in 32-bit float. Such a cheat code. And also, a thing that I need to take note of. Actually, let me write this down as a note to myself. Here, you know what? I'm just going to put it in my Notion notes. Because the ZR doesn't have the viewfinder, electronic viewfinder, it is a lower profile camera in terms of size. However, this also helps when I attach a shotgun mic, because I don't feel as bad about adding it given the profile was smaller to begin with. I'll reword it better, but basically, yeah, one thing is because the camera doesn't have the hump where the viewfinder is when you're looking through it, and you almost don't need it, right? I still instinctively would try to do that at times, but because it doesn't have that space where the viewfinder is, technically, if you attach the shotgun mic to it, and you saw the picture of the shotgun mic, it's not that tall, it's not that big, you don't feel like, oh shit, now I'm like stacking stuff onto a camera, like a normal camera, so it's too much stuff going on. It just makes the size now feel more like a normal camera already. So yeah, like I almost feel like if I get my hands on the ZR with that shotgun mic, the one that's being sold by Nikon, I think I would just keep the shotgun mic on at all times, and I would be okay with that. So I think these are 3 of the younger ones. I think they're all adolescent.
I-K-U-R-U.
This is Aikuru. Aikuru.
But you're my roommate.
I was trying to do a shot.
Can you get some B-roll of this?
I was trying to do a shot of this one.
Yep.
Let's see what I find. Because Aikuru was doing such a cool pose. She has also a very distinct face. But then I was trying to see, can I get a shot where I line up the chimp in the background inside of the heart shape or inside of the opening that she's creating with her arm. So I think I was able to get it. Let's see. Not exactly perfectly at the right moment, but like, yeah, we got a few examples like that where we just do a nice little focus pull starting with her. And then in slow motion, hopefully it'll look very nice. Yeah. This one, I think I shot this with an 85 1.2. Yeah, so we got a nice moment here once we stabilize it as we shift focus from the foreground to the middle ground of the second chimp there. But it was cool. I think the framing is nice. I think if I could, I'd crop a bit from this side. But yeah, I think the shot turned out good.
First again.
One second.
Oh, look at the details. You look sad. Are you hungry?
All right, BC, I'm just gonna gamble 600. Jesus. All right, let's gamble again. We can't lose twice in a row, right? Let's do another 600. No, 600.
One of the wires here. So other.
This is just my.
All right, there's a cool moment. So yeah, one of the chimps came up here during the feeding. So then you might have seen briefly where it caught. Was it this one? I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. So then one of the keepers tossed one of the, was it an onion, I think? You see him catching it. Chill life. But yeah, the quality here is so nice. I don't know. I'm curious. There's a 5-minute cooldown, BC said? Okay, fair enough. I am a bit curious, like, does video work the same way as photo, where like if you have a 50 megapixel sensor as opposed to 24.5 or whatever, how noticeable of a difference do you end up getting? And I have no idea. But like at least with this 24.5 megapixel sensor, man, when you get that focus locked in, it's like so crisp.
So other.
This one's Sunday. So BC, this is the chimp that has no PP. So you had something in common for a moment there.
This is just technically my first day, you know?
Oh yeah, I think I'm going to use this one. We have a number of these kind of shots, but again, just when I do the audio review, I think one of these shots I think I'll need to keep, just because we had a really cool moment. Obviously, this one is distressed. There was a fight that happened where I forget what happened exactly. They were explaining it in the audio maybe, but this chimp started doing something with another chimp, and the chimps got really upset at him. And so then they started attacking him, and then he ran over to one of the keepers for protection and then was like crying about it. BC said he and I have nothing in common now. I'm biggest PP currently. Oh yeah, let me gamble again. Gamble. What did I say? 600 last time. But he said, P.S. Who in the world chops off a chimp's PP? I don't remember the story of Sunday, but a few of the chimps were circus chimps. So some of them were rescued from like pet trade. Some were rescued from like human conflict. Some were rescued from like the meat trade. Is that what they call it? But also, yeah, from like circuses and stuff. So I think some of maybe like the circus ones, they might have castrated chimps or just in general to like make them less aggressive and stuff like that. So yeah, it's obviously very unfortunate and all that, but yeah. BCS, real question. How many times have you been in a situation on these expeditions where the animals become potentially aggressive or tempered? Like the chimps or gorillas, I see being some of the most potentially aggressive ones, no? Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had a number of those moments, especially with the chimps. I had one, there's a couple times maybe where the gorilla kind of like charges at you, but it's like, they don't go too close. They just charge briefly, and then it's just a show of force. But you're like surrounded by all these rangers and guides, so you don't like really feel, or personally, I guess I didn't feel that threatened by it. There's always this kind of a feeling in the back of my head, like, oh, I'm sure they'll take care of it, which is maybe a false assurance. With the chimps, they're a bit more active, so technically, I feel like you got to be more careful around the chimps. Yeah, on most of my chimp treks I've done, we've had close encounters where the chimps are running around and then they race right by you, but it's never been done in like a threatening way. It's always more they're just like very playful. They're very like animated. Also, like when you're doing these treks, we're not actually you could do a trek where you're trying to spend, there's like a 4-hour permit where you get to spend 4 hours with the chimpanzee family or the gorilla family, but it costs like twice as much, if not more. And also, it's for a family. They call them families. What do you call a family of gorillas and chimps? Anyways, you don't spend time with chimps or gorillas that are fully habituated. You're spending time 4 hours to try to habituate some of the other wild chimp families and the gorilla families. So you spend more time with them because it's all part of a process where you're trying to get them comfortable around humans. The traditional, or like the standard treks that you do for gorillas and chimps is a 1-hour permit. So, it depends how long it takes you to get to the chimps. You trek through the forest and all that. But eventually, once you see the apes, they start a timer for like 1 hour, and you get to spend 1 hour with them. But yeah, when you're spending that 1 hour with the family of chimps or gorillas, these are habituated apes, which means that it's like a multi-year long process where through these types of treks and these types of activities, they're trying to get different ape families to become more accustomed to humans, so they're not as aggressive, that they start to familiarize themselves with humans, so then hopefully it can allow for like coexistence, let's say. So basically, when you're going on one of those treks, you're spending time with a habituated family, which means that they're very accustomed to humans. Now, it doesn't like give you like it doesn't all of a sudden mean that they're super safe. At the end of the day, they are freaking wild animals that are, they can tear you apart in seconds. So you have to always be careful, but as long as you're following the instructions of the guides, you'll be fine, right? They're like simple things like, don't pound your chest. Like these like very sensical, common sense kind of things where it's like, yeah, don't try to, when you see the silverback, don't pound your chest. Don't stare at them in the eyes in like a challenging way, because then they will take that as a challenge, and then you got to be careful, right? So I've had a few moments like that, but never like so threatening. We've had a few elephants charging at us, and one when we were doing a walking trek in Zimbabwe, and so that one was a bit more terrifying. Terrifying, but it was like we had to make sure to step back behind the guide, and he has a rifle, so as the elephant just out of nowhere starts charging, he was like shouting at us to get back behind him, and then he got his rifle ready. But yeah, the elephant eventually stopped and then just stared at us. So if anything, I think the elephant was more dangerous than the gorillas and the chimps. Thoughts of being with gorillas in the wild makes me feel uneasy. Yeah, man. I mean, it's an adrenaline rush for sure, and it is one of those cool things where, unlike jeep safaris, and other types of vehicular safaris or being in a hide, you are literally exposed to these animals, right? And so there is a feeling of, it feels a lot more raw and a lot more real. It's a lot more exciting. You don't feel as much like you're an alien, observing from a bubble, right? You are in their environment. You are like we have in the dialogue, in the opening dialogue, you are the guest, right? You've entered their space. And so there's this kind of like profound feeling to this where it just makes you feel more, just everything. It just makes you feel more, really. Like the adrenaline, the feeling of like how tiny we are in the grand scheme of things, and like you're actually in nature with them. There's just so much that goes into this experience that makes it so worthwhile, in my opinion, but it's also what makes it so expensive, right? Like it's a once in a lifetime type of experience. So I'm very grateful that I get to do this more than once.
So
But yeah, and especially with gorillas and chimpanzees, because they say chimps are like our closest relatives. Like I was told it's like 98.7% of their DNA matches with ours. So when you have these animals that look like humans, right? They're very expressive. They've got thumbs. They got very human-like facial features. There's just like so much to it that when you're face to face with them or see how they interact with each other, when you see how loving they are with each other, when you see how aggressive they are with each other, like it just feels like they're very much like human, like they're our cousins almost, right? So there's this eerie nature to that as well. But it's also something that gravitates, like it also makes you more gravitate towards the experience. He said, I say that, but my dumbass wants to cage dive with great white sharks. Yo, being underwater is even more terrifying. I want to get comfortable underwater because that is the space frontier, right? When you think of like all the crazy animals that are yet to be explored, it's got to be underwater. And if you have the rig and if you're able to go underwater and like get some really cool shots, that is like next level. But yeah, it is a bit more terrifying. The thought of like 360-degree and omnidirection that anything can come attack you or approach you is like terrifying, right? That is a very real, yeah. I wouldn't say it's a phobia of mine, but it is one of those where it's like, I know that I would love to do it, but it's gonna be like you are confronting this real feeling of being an ant, There's something else I was going to say though. Oh yeah. I want to do the cage. I want to be in a cage with the polar bears. I've seen some of those viral clips of like some Nat Geo photographer or whatever who was like in a man, like they made this, I forget if he made it, but they had this like rig that set up to protect them from a polar bear. But the polar bear is like coming up, trying to like break apart the cage to get to the human. I was like, yo, that would be so insane. Yeah, so this is a chimp that was in a fight with all the others.
So she's asking her to help him.
Yeah, look at all the facial expressions it's making. I'm pretty sure this chimp has feces on its face. And actually, I ended up getting some feces on my clothes. Thankfully, I was wearing one of their like uniforms. But I think I have a footage of it where they're trying to help me wipe off the shit from my pants. Because that's how close they got. They were rushing past and everything, so they're like close enough that they rubbed some shit on my leg. But yeah, you can see in there like they're canines, right? It's like fangs. These things. Yeah, so this is where obviously at the end of the day you have to remember these are wild animals and you have to always just follow the instructions of the guides and people who know better. But yeah, if one of these guys chomps on your arm, like, say goodbye, that kind of shit. Like this thing is, yeah, I know, like from bite force and the freaking fangs. Yeah. So yeah, obviously you gotta be careful and everything, but. But yeah, some of these rescues, the doctor was explaining to me that a lot of them actually, yeah. So he was sharing some of the sad stories of like how there's a lot of collective trauma with these chimps because again, oftentimes they were rescued from really bad situations. But he was mentioning a lot of the chimps, sometimes like whoever had them, like literally forcibly removed their teeth, right? Because yeah, to keep the humans safe. So they would like literally extract their teeth. And he was saying, silver lining, some of the chimps that got their teeth removed, they were like the baby teeth or they were still young at the time. So it eventually grew back. But yeah, some never, could. So yeah, very, very sad stuff. And so I didn't want my documentary to be like a sob story or too much of like, just like depressing stuff. So it was also trying to strike a mood or a balance between the moods. But at the end of the day, I do want to convey that these chimps they're rescues, you know, and there's like a lot of trauma that they've experienced, and hopefully that does connect with the audience and then shows the value of the mission, the value of what the sanctuary does.
This is good. Like we have close-ups.
I think this is right after it rained, so all the colors were so nice. I love shooting in the rain. Everything just looks richer in colors. Obviously, the chimps get a shower, so now you're getting all the raindrops, like the reflection off the water on their skin.
So just in case you need to improve something, just in case you need something, this is the review.
Thank you, Jipuka.
Okay, not for publication.
That purpose.
I have not Chipuka, and I do not join servers or stuff like that, but thank you.
Okay, let's go. Easy. Come on.
Let's go. Alright, so this is when they were fighting. Ooh, I might use something from this one. Again, you're getting some clean audio, and it's just like very, very unique shots. So let me listen to that again. Dun, dun, dun. Let's turn it up. Yeah, and actually this one is a good test too, because there's a super loud clap from the chimp of all creatures, right? So then the fact that I might even just screen record and show that I'm able to manually adjust the audio levels on this to drop the sound a bit for the clap.
Natasha. Tam, Natasha.
Okay, for sure I got to use these two. Okay, so let me mark these two. Because we're getting some unique sounds. We get that super loud clap that normally could end up clipping in in normal circumstances. If I was filming without the 32-bit float, this would be an example where I might have set the microphone for like the ambient sound around me, and then for that clap to be so close to the camera, it would have ended up clipping. But in this case, I'm able to see that there's no issues. I can drop it to what I need it to. So I think that's a good example. And then let's just choose a color I don't think I've used. Let's go with the beige. And then this one, just because now I'm showing an example right, obviously clearly I'm close up to the chimp's mouth. I'm gonna guess that I used the shotgun mic on this one, but honestly I wish I need a way to tell, but let's see.
Natasha. Tam, Natasha.
But the kid
Do I have more of that audio? Let's see. Oh yeah, we got a lot. I forget why I ended up clipping a bunch of these. Here, let's just extend this out real quick and listen to it. Dun, 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 dun. Let's drag this over. Okay. Let's stretch this guy out. Same with this one. All right, let's just listen to this.
Natasha. Tam, Natasha. Something I like it when it looks like a kiss. Like they do mouth. No. Yeah, she's the one who breastfeeds, but now, well.
But the kid is so big now, no?
Yeah, so big. She is trying to win.
Okay. Okay, okay, it's not bad. Ooh, okay, for sure this one. Man, okay, we're gonna have to be really selective. It's gonna be a bit tough to. The challenge is gonna have to figure out what of these do I use and what I do not use. Because like I don't know how long I want to make a product review. Like I think I gotta keep it to maybe under 10 minutes is my guess. I know most of the ones I've seen are like 15 minutes ish, but like I don't think I have the review chops just yet to really do such an extensive one. I would like to still keep this a bit short and sweet, where I'm sharing a lot of my review and my opinion and assessment based on my lack of knowledge and where I am in my trajectory, and not coming from a place of like, hey, watch my 15-minute, fully comprehensive, nuts and bolts A to Z guide about the Nikon ZR. If you want that, you should watch any of these other channels, like the Gerald Undones or the Jared Polin or any of those other guys. This one, I want to keep it very, very much to what we discussed so far on the stream, which is like, hey, this is, if you're an aspiring filmmaker, here's my honest assessments of whether or not this can make you feel professional, and like, here are my thoughts on blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we'll keep it more in line with that. And I think 10 minutes is fine. All right, let's see the audio. But yeah, that was cool because like you literally, and I can even turn up the audio obviously, but we can hear when I forget, is this the alpha? I don't think this is the alpha, but when this chimp literally leaps in the air and does a crazy flying sidekick bounce off of the tree, and you can hear the slapping sound when it kicks off of the tree with such force. So let's hear it again. Let's turn it all the way maximum. Boom. Okay, let's turn it down a bit now. Actually, this might have been the alpha. Man, I need to double check on this one. But yeah. And again, this is why you got to be careful around these chimps. They are dangerous, right? And you know, if you're not smart. Yep, that's the shot. Too much wind noise. I think that's a good one, right? We got clean nature. We'll just mark this for later.
Why is Sunday?
So basically, like my review essentially with the microphones situation, both the shotgun and the normal, it's excellent. The only issue is obviously with the wind sound, but that's an easy fix. It was just a user error in the sense that I just didn't have the dead cat to put on the shotgun mic. Now, if you're not using the shotgun mic and it's just the built-in audio, then obviously when it gets windy, there's not a good solution for that. But then yeah, that's where you use that shotgun mic. Yo, that's crazy. That's like ASMR level. I wonder if this is a shotgun mic. You can literally hear them like the lip smacking. So that one as well. Let's grab this. All right, let's keep going.
What about for Sony? Do you have
Which one, Sonny?
Sony.
the one, the camera?
So this is the chimp that was in a fight with the other chimps, and that's the one that was crying earlier. And then I think he got his hand injured, which is why he was walking awkwardly like that. So eventually, it's not a serious injury, but I did end up getting that footage when the doctor arrived on the island, and then he was inspecting this chimp's hand. I think the name of this chimp is Easy. I could be wrong. Yo, there's something crazy. Like to see a wild animal knowing how to use sticks as like a weapon. It is a little bit too close to home of like a Planet of the Apes feel. So there's a few times where I saw they know how to pick up sticks. They're even mentioning that some of the chimps know. One, they're aware of the electric fence, right? So the electric fence is there to obviously keep them safe and keep them from entering into the human facilities. But I think they were mentioning some of them know to take like a stick and try to like pry through the electric, through the openings to like try to grab food or whatever else. It's like, dude, that is insane. Look at this guy like attacking with a stick. Crazy. Oh man, yo, BC, you've been doing some work. Okay, let me do the same. How many points do I got? Gamble 938. I'm gonna gamble it all. Let's risk it all. Did I win? All right, I did it. Okay. We're getting some PPs back.
We had not yet entered the forest.
I don't think I filmed him before.
Not ever.
Can I shoot him? I will go.
Ooh, this might be a good one.
Yeah.
In a
So
chimpanzee
government
community, it
only,
doesn't work. So Megan is arriving.
BC said, if I'm the biggest PP each month, at the end of the year, we can just call me King PP. Listen, yeah, at that point, we'll call you whatever you want, okay? Yeah, is your name still showing up there? Let me double check. There you are. Biggest PP of the... Okay, I do need to change it to say month, but... Yeah, I'm liking this setup, by the way. Oops, sorry, King Pop. One thing I'm going to do as I have some time is I want to test out doing the TikTok streams. So I'm thinking if you see my chat right now where you've got my webcam here and then above me is the cat and then one layer above I can basically have a small version of my screen, like whatever I'm editing. So we'd have this screen but just in the same tiny format. But then yeah, we can end up creating a vertical stack and then maybe the cat is on the top, maybe I'm on the bottom, and then the middle is whatever I'm editing. Or maybe the cat's in the middle, editing thing on the top. I don't know. We'll figure out whatever it is. But if I can get access to actually editing or streaming on TikTok in that format, if it's technically possible, I might as well try. Because why not? We technically have... Well, we did at one point have 100,000 followers on TikTok, but That was all from one viral video, and then I haven't maintained it properly. But I think I do have the qualifications to live stream with them, with like the desktop studio thing. But I think right now it's only on PC, so that's one thing. I have this really cool shot of this hand, which I ended up not being able to figure out how to use in the film. But it was such a cool shot. So I don't know how I'm going to use it. Well, there's another moment there. This dude, like, mid-chase, he picks up a stick and, like, tosses it at the dude that he's chasing. Jesus. It's like Planet of the Apes, man. At some point, they're going to know how to pick up a machine gun. Oh, and he did the same leaping thing. Ooh, what is this shot? Let's turn up the volume.
Yeah. Tumba? Tumba.
Yeah, they look
Tumba.
very good, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's very
Yes, the females are on implants. They are
active, and
if you sterilize them, yes.
the youngest is how old?
The youngest is now in chimps it's a lot earlier. They 9 to 12, but usually typically 9 years of age. And at that time they can
Yeah, we ended up using this shot towards the very end. It was like a nice, like, loving shot type feel. This is
Can you remind me, how did he lose the thumb?
Oh yeah, so this whole section here, I barely was able to really give it its due in the short film. But basically, we went on a boat ride, and we went to the western shore. Is that right? Yeah, because basically the sun was setting, so we had some nice lighting in this direction. And then the chimps, they normally patrol the forest throughout the day, just in case, like, for any threats or things like that. But anyways, when they see the boat coming out here, they kind of know that there will be a feeding. So the chimps come there, and then basically, in this case, the doctor and all of them, they brought a bunch of the food that they would feed normally at this time. And then yeah, the chimps they go into the water. It was so crazy. Now this is something that they allow with tourists. So you, as a tourist, if you visit the island, you can stay there overnight and all that kind of stuff, but you can also rent one of these boats and have this experience, which for photographers, really cool, right? Because these kind of like boat experiences are one of the ways that you're able to get very close up with some wildlife while being safe. So yeah, like some of my closest encounters with elephants have also been from like a boat experience, because then the elephants are at the shoreline or whatever, so it gives you a nice barrier. So you'll see most of my shots, they tend to be pretty shaky, because like I'll film more than I need to at times, and also I'm like making adjustments throughout. And then the key thing is, for me, oftentimes I'm just looking for just a few seconds. I just need a few seconds of clean, stable shot, and then I know that in post, obviously I'll be stabilizing it, and then slow motion usually. So then we end up with everything we need for our film. You know what? Actually, let's take an example one. So let's take this one, because you can see a bit of shake there, right? As I'm like trying to follow this guy. This is probably a good test to see how good is the stabilization, and yeah. So let's go. I recently learned this. Shout out to Maple. He was the one who let me know that you can actually do stabilization, not from the editing tab, but actually from the color tab. And supposedly it gives you a bit more control. I'm still not certain how exactly this compares, but let me go ahead and adjust a bit here. Okay, so let's see how that turns out. So we saw the initial one had a bit of shake and everything involved. Hopefully it's going to be smoother here. So you can see like it cropped just ever so slightly, but in exchange, everything that you saw that I was filming where it looks very shaky, I mean, yes, it is a bit shaky, but it's all acceptable shake. And yeah, so like for me, from that, I'm able to get this really stable footage. And then I can slow it down because I think this was shot in 60 frames, so then you get this slow motion shot of the exact same thing.
Beautiful.
Actually, this is a good example because this one I was really shaky at times, right? Because I was trying to keep it in frame when it was jumping up and down. So this will be a good challenge to see how much of a stress test can we put to the stabilization. Let's see. Let's go to translation, stabilize. Let's see how much it crops here as we look at this. Okay, so it cropped a decent amount, more than the other one, but let's see how it turns out. Yeah, that was good. I think I ended up, yeah, because we didn't do this one. But yeah, so this one again, just looking at it. Yes, and that is the power of this camera and technology in general. So even so, you know, I mentioned the hero shots that we have of like the walk through the forest. Let me see which one of these we should test real quick. So let me test this one. Okay. So this is the original shot. Let's just see how it is. So again, I shot this with the 35mm f1.2. This is walking backwards with the camera, handheld. Literally just walking backwards without looking behind me and just doing my best to keep up with the pace of this chimp. So like I'm trying to rush even faster. But yeah, so then occasionally you see a little bit of shake, but honestly, like I felt like it was pretty decent. This camera, it held up. And then now obviously let's go ahead and just apply a bit of a stabilization. Let's see if we can make it better. And like I said, the other thing that we're going to do is put in slow motion. And so then that smooths out a lot of the jerkiness of like, you know, when your camera's shifting around. So then between using slow motion and doing the built-in stabilization of the editing softwares, I tend to end up with results where I have decent seconds of footage that I know I can use. I didn't see it happen. Let me see. There we go. Okay, let's check it out. And then sometimes when I do too much of the stabilization, or if I was too jerky in the actual original shot, then you'll see some warping and the stabilization is not the greatest. But here you're watching this, I'm like, yo, this looks great. It almost looks like I was using a gimbal. Like it ends up being pretty smooth. And so the trade-off obviously is that with the gimbal you would guarantee you're getting a smooth shot, and it could free you up to focus on other things. Like in my case, looking behind me and making sure I don't trip over anything. But the drawback is obviously once you got a gimbal in, like if you want to switch lenses, depending on the type of lens you have, if maybe you can't zoom out, you're just locked in with whatever gear you got, and it's much heavier and all that. Whereas for me, because I'm hand holding, it just allowed that much more flexibility. Or if I need to switch lenses for another shot, I can, and not worry about calibrating the everything. So then here we've stabilized. Let's go ahead and test one more time now with the slow motion. So let me just drag this over. And this one I shot at 60 frames, so I should be able to drop this to 40% of the speed.
Tambu? Tamba?
Tumbo.
Tumba.
Yeah, he looks very regal, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's very.
Yes, the females are on implants. They are some food.
And
If you sterilize them, yes.
the youngest is how old?
The youngest is now in chimps it's a lot earlier. They 9 to 12, but usually typically 9 years old. And at that time they can conceive and have babies. So that is considered.
Can you remind me?
And there we go. That's how we get that super cinematic look. So yeah, anyway, so that was just basically how I would shoot. And honestly, this camera is just really, really super powerful for what I'm doing. Quality of the colors, everything, just it really pops. Yeah, and like I said, I didn't really have issues with shaky shots. Everything I was able to correct in the editing process, and end up with like a number of shots where I can actually feel comfortable using it in the ultimate film. I just want to see what else I can share real quick. Let's see. I wanted to show. Yeah, let's listen to some of these. Let's see how the audio is. Because now it should be some nice nature sounds here with the beach and everything. Except for the wind, that pesky wind. Oh yeah, and then we were talking about.
Tell me if you need the market.
When you stop here.
So it means we will have a lot of money.
Man, it's crazy how many birds were there. Jesus. Okay, I wanted to test the interview shot. Do I have one of the interviews I can point to? Ooh, this is good too. Okay, let's test this. Anytime I can get like nice water, the water lapping sounds. Let's see.
half kilo.
Yeah, free extra is good. We just don't want anything close. These guys know it very well.
Basically, they got like a huge shipment of food for the chimps, so they're just like weighing everything and all that kind of fun stuff. Okay, I wanted to go to the interview ones.
All right.
Okay, here we go. I don't think I've seen this one yet, or in terms of
Okay,
testing.
so we'll just do normal interview. Very friendly. Just don't worry about the interview part. So I'll ask you the same kind of questions, but yeah. So if you can start with what's your name and how long you've been here.
And like I said, the only issue is I didn't have the freaking dead cat, but I believe this is just this one. I had the shotgun mic, and I think I had it set to focus mode, which I'm not sure if I think I should have had it on the pure mode, which I didn't know about.
Hello.
And then obviously I need to bump up the audio here. Let's just see.
My name is Innocent. I'm Teire, and I'm the head keeper here at Ngamba Island. I've been working with chimpanzees at the sanctuary from 2006, starting as a volunteer and later becoming a full-time caregiver.
Okay, so I think audio is pretty good. Now, obviously here in this case with the ambient sound of the birds chirping, if you hear the birds chirping really loudly in addition to, and if it overlaps with his voice, I don't know how to take care of that in post. But yeah, I'm able to lift the audio. Let's see how much we can lift it here.
I would have had a favorite chimpanzee, but I treat all chimpanzees the same. I remember when I joined the sanctuary, Rambo was my favorite. And just because he used to spin, he was more playful, all the time wanted to play with me, so he had become my favorite.
That's good. This is decent.
A bit of a disconnection, which was a very...
And I was pretty far from him because I was shooting with an 85 1.2 lens. So I had shifted myself quite far back to get the framing. So yeah, at a distance, shotgun mic.
Because I did not wish to continue that all other individuals are the same.
Let's see, what about here?
And
So now we're indoors, but it wasn't like proper indoors. Like half this area is like a tent flap.
so I was in school, joined the Wildlife Club. And then from school I would visit the former zoo, which is in Entebbe. And it is from Entebbe that I had that special connection with primates. And I looked forward to any opportunity that would come so that I would join the caregiving team. And I did not know about Ngamba Island by then.
And again, I think in hindsight, I should have used the one that's called pure. There's like a pure setting mode, which I think is designed for like just capturing voices. But, you know, you live and you learn, as they say. Let me quickly see if I have the other examples.
Here, the good spot for the tourists. They like to see it close up, and also, you know, to actually experience them getting into the water to see how they go. In fresh water, so the chimps have direct access to it, and it's pretty safe, especially on this side of the lake. There's not much pollution, as you would find on the mainland, where there are more human settlements. So here the water is pretty fresh. But on Ngamba, what we also do annually, we test the water. To be sure, first of all, because we also use it, that it is safe for the chimps to drink, it's safe for us. And we do know there are certain water parasites that they can get from here.
Yeah.
Especially of...
Okay. Oh yeah, let's test this one again.
Really care about animals.
Same thing's pretty far away. More far, because obviously you see more of her bodies in the frame.
That I have to do.
Let's test. Let's blast this one.
Research, and I decided to go to Ngamba Island for that.
Yo, that's really good. Okay, so assuming I had the dead cat, so no wind. Let's hear how this would be.
I study veterinary medicine, and for that I have to do research. And I decided to go to Ngamba Island for that because I was looking for a sanctuary where I could work with wildlife, but I really wanted to find a sanctuary that puts animal welfare first as the top priority, and not visitors or money or researchers like me. And this place really ticked those boxes, and yeah.
Yeah, really cool audio. Again, like I said, if I put in the right settings, I think as cool as the way the water sound is, it can be a bit distracting and it's a little too close to where the camera was situated. So yeah, anyways, there's some good learnings there. But overall, I would say this microphone was fantastic. Like how does it compare to the competitors? I have no idea. But as far as like, is this a microphone I personally would want to use, especially hooked up to this camera? Absolutely, I would love to. Because the thing is, like I said, I have one of those $250 mics, the Rode NTG blah 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 shotgun mic, and I like it, but there's a couple things. One, I have to charge it. It's like battery power or whatever, or like you have to actually charge it overnight, or it has to be powered on and then you connect it to the camera. It's wired, but then also the form factor is pretty long and like in your face, right? So it's like it takes up a lot of space and it's pretty large. This shotgun mic that I was using was tiny. It like didn't take up much real estate at all. So if you can give me like the similar performance with the tinier body and like it's a wireless and everything, hells yeah.
And I have, in preparation for going here, gone to a few zoos to work with chimpanzees as well, to just get used to them, to know what to do, what not to do. So that's basically all the experience I had. It was very little, but the caregivers here, they know so much, so they help me a lot and really teach me.
Okay. And then yeah, this is where I was testing a bit more. Let's see.
Ooh, another feature Whew. And we've been here for... So the thing I wanted to test though is right now, this is in front mode, focus mode on the shotgun mic. I'm going to switch this now to the all mode. So now it's on all, so I don't know if that means it should be capturing a bit more ambient sound besides just whatever's in front of the camera. So you guys be the judge if the sound quality has changed at all. And then we're going to do one final thing. Let's go over to this rear mode.
Oh, that's not what I
So
wanted.
now it should be picking up on the rear side.
I wanted the focus mode. Did I do it here?
Audio here. Okay, so I think we're done testing the audio here in terms of the mic. There's a bit of wind coming.
Oh, I know.
But yes, we are at the Chimp Island. Of course, we're testing out this wild. That in this case, we had a good test wild for ambient stories of, and the rest of the island.
Come on, give me some more details.
Same camera, just without the shotgun mic. It's also on the same setting of 11.
Okay, so this is the built-in microphone.
Same camera, just without the shotgun mic. It's also on the same setting of 11. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. There's this slight breeze coming through, but I want to test the built-in microphone quality of our NZR. So far I can't complain. It's keeping focus. Now one thing I saw that so for all, I'm in selfie mode. So let's test one more time. I'm going to put the shotgun mic back on.
Okay, so is that what this was?
Through like 10 different spider webs. So I'm just collecting through here. Anyways, I'm just doing one more test as we walk around. This time I am without the shotgun mic, so we're just going with the built-in mic recordings. So I believe this is set to the 32-bit float recording, so very, very excited to test that out. We have been testing it throughout the past few days, but it's the quality of chimpanzees are just screeching. Test coming up. We are currently at here for just a few days. It hasn't. That is a lot of test of, but then also seeing the various reduce them into, and the rest of the island. I think there's over 50 back, and throughout the day that them throughout dive deeper in terms of my being out of breath. Okay, we are testing the microphone on our new NZR.
I kept saying NZR, but it's just ZR. But I think I was just because I think the file name would be NZR, so I just kept saying NZR, which is technically not true. Whatever.
So hopefully we can hear it all right.
Wait, which one am I testing here? I need to label these.
Microphone. Here's the shotgun mic attached. We have it on the front setting and focus mode. So hopefully we can hear it all right. I forgot to put the dead cat on. There won't be any wind here. 11 right now. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not seeing my voice peak at all. Now this is supposed to have the 32-bit float.
Okay, so this one is focus with the shotgun mic. So then this one is what?
Same camera, just without the shotgun mic. 11. So hopefully, same setting of 11.
What?
Same camera, just without the shotgun mic. It's also on the same setting of 11. So hopefully, you guys can hear me okay. There's this slight.
Okay, so this is without. God, I need to be better about this.
Ooh, another feature I just saw. I don't know again
This one sounds the best,
if these are just new.
but I wish I knew what setting that I use this on. Jesus. This came after, so let's put this over here.
Same camera, just without.
Okay.
But we're going to test some of the other modes that are built into it. 1 second. Ooh, another feature I just saw. I don't know again if these are just new features I haven't noticed, but when I hit the record button, I have it set so that there's a little timer that shows up that says to record, which is kind of nice. Alright, so the thing I wanted to test though is right now, this is in front mode, focus mode on the shotgun mic. I'm going to switch this now to the all mode. So now it's on all, so I don't know if that means it should be capturing a bit more ambient sound besides just whatever's in front of the camera.
Both sound really good though, but I there's a pure mode, unless I'm going crazy. And I must have tried it, but
And then we're going to do one final thing. Let's go over to this rear mode.
but not that.
I'm assuming it will be focusing more of the sound from the back side of the mic. Let me jump. I'm going to jump back to front mode.
Okay, here we go.
And now we were in focus. Let's go ahead and choose pure. So there's like two kind of switches you can play around with.
Ooh.
So one of the options you can switch between is focus and pure. All of this so far was on focus mode. Now we are on pure mode.
Okay, you know what? There's a slightly noticeable difference there. It did feel like my voice ended up being a bit deeper and like, yeah, I felt like it was a bit fuller in the sound. Let's hear.
There's a little timer that shows up that says 3, 2, 1 before it will actually record, which is kind of nice. All right, so the thing I wanted to test though is focus. Let's go ahead and choose pure. So there's like two kind of switches.
So it subtly like dropped the background sound a bit.
Now we were in focus. Let's go ahead and choose pure. So there's like two kind of switches you can play around with. So one of the options you can switch between is focus and pure. All of this so far was on focus mode. Now we are on pure mode. Same thing. Let me switch over to the all. So now this is all mode, pure mode. The all pure mode, let's just say. So you guys tell me.
I love it, man. Okay. Just a side note, I think this would be amazing for me because some of my more recent trips that I've been on, basically I would have my Z6 III and then I would have to attach the DJI mic 2 and then I'd have to hook up the DJI mic to my clothes. So it's like pretty noticeable, right? These things are not like tiny. So once you attach it onto your shirt or something, it's just like it's there and it's in your face. It's as annoying as this freaking gaffer tape that I stuck to my my shirt because I had to hide all the logos and stuff. So it's almost as annoying as that, right? So anyways, in that sense, having no mic set and having a shotgun mic that's also not too intrusive, tiny form factor, that would just make my life so much easier because then I don't have to like do all the things. I have to turn this on. I have to make sure to have the microphone set properly and then everything's connected, then go. It's like, nope, I can just literally hop the shotgun in, digital shoot, boom, we're good to go. I love it. Okay, anyways, it is now 9:30 p.m. and I think this is probably a good place for me to stop for the day. Like I said, I'm not at least for the next week or so, 1 to 2 weeks. My game plan is not to do super long streams. We're probably going to cap it at roughly like 3 to 4 hours per day, just because I do need to reserve a bunch of time for a bunch of projects that I've been, okay, look, not that I'm complaining, but obviously in the past couple weeks I've been busy with the traveling and filming and editing this this Nikon ZR film. But that does mean that in those 2 weeks I wasn't able to catch up on everything else in my life, so I do need to play a bit of catch up now in the back end. So yeah, but I am happy to be back here. I'm hopefully getting back into the groove of doing these longer streams. We're gonna cover a lot of ground. So like I said, I am kind of milking a bit of everything from this trip, the ZR trip, because yeah, we have some really cool shots. We have shots that is very exclusive. I do hope you guys enjoy this, because you're not going to see these kind of shots much anywhere in the world, because yes, we were very fortunate to be on a project to get shots with the camera that's not out there in the market yet. So I do hope you're finding this valuable. I hope you're finding this useful, or at the very least entertaining. And I'm going to keep going through some of these footages, and we're going to start working on making some additional clips, right? So I mentioned I'm doing a product review shot, so I'm going to start working through which clips do I need to put into our little timeline here to start setting it up. And then yeah, we'll also create some nice like Instagram Reels and TikTok kind of shots as well, because we have plenty of cool looking shots in my opinion. So yeah, anyways, we're going to keep being productive, but yes, I need to juggle between all the other work stuff that I'm doing. So thank you guys. We are at 9:33 p.m. I believe that means I've been streaming for I think we did like a 3.5 hour stream, something like that, right? Can I see my timer here? Yeah, just literally just about 3.5 hours. So yes, keep in mind, once we're back into it full time, we will be doing 7 to 8 hour streams every day. We did that for about 46 days in a row, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was amazing. So as we as we catch up on a few things, as we find the balance, this is what we'll keep doing. But all right, anyways, I think I missed one message from Photo Elite. I apologize. It was from quite a long time ago. You're saying, look what you make your wife call you in the bedroom is none of our business. Oh, I see. Look, what you make your wife call you in the bedroom is none of our business. I 100% agree. Okay, anyways, with that, guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for another entertaining stream. Thank you guys for your wonderful comments. I'm going to leave one more thing for you guys. My little promo here, !promo. If you are new to the stream, if you're just happening to watch this at any point in the VODs or anything else, if you'd like to support me, if you'd like to see the kind of stuff that I do, I've just put a link in here. This is my latest YouTube video. The title of this short documentary film is called Island of Second Chances, and it is a film that I made 5 minutes only, and it's entirely shot with the Nikon ZR. So if you'd like to see what kind of results can you make with this type of new camera that's out there from Nikon, well, hopefully you'll enjoy this short film. Let me know what you think of it. Leave some comments. I will be responding to all of them, and it is very, very helpful to my channel. So, okay, I think we're good on that. Thank you guys for being here, and I will see you guys